A triple kill, but Son of Finn, he'll deny the plant. He sees 2 more kills. Oh my god! Son of Finn will find more!
7 seconds left, they gotta pick up the diffuser, but Tommy lines up both! Tommy with the 1v3!
Device, misses shots, he's gonna have to go for the first. He pushes on through! Dylan is better!
Round 2, and there's another as Tyrants is finished off, and they all line up for Bone!
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We're back here at SCS for another great postseason broadcast. Tonight, we're diving into the lower bracket where we've got 4 teams competing for only 2 spots moving forward. And if this is a loss tonight for any team, that means your run in SCS for Season 5 is over. I'm Sticula. Joining me here as my partner tonight will be Blue Panda. Really looking forward to seeing how Biblioteca versus Arial Arise is going to pan out.
Well, I mean, I know for a fact that Biblioteca, they're probably hoping for a repeat of last time. Arial Arise obviously versed them in the opening round in the quarterfinals. It went the way of Biblioteca 2-0. So Arial Arise, they're going to be hoping for a different result here. Obviously, last time it was a 2-0 Clubhouse in Oregon with the 2 maps played, both resulting in a 7-4. So, I mean, there's obviously got to be that working against them. Hopefully, Arial Arise can, not repeat history here. They want to be the ones to progress through into round 3 of the lower bracket, where they'll verse the winner of Smoke Break or Aggro, Smoke Break and Aggro, rather. But, I mean, you've got to wonder, history so far recently is not on their side.
Yeah, this is a bit of a shaky one. Of course, for Arial Arise, they have had a couple of Twitlongers go out recently. It seems the drive to continue to play Siege just not quite there. Some of their members talking about stepping away until a big offer comes along. Of course, Arial Arise has been a storied name for a long time inside of T3, winning CCS, winning RSA. I mean, their tournament victories really don't stop, but I think it's the sort of idea that they're kind of burnt out from Siege that could prevent them from going all the way here unless they suddenly feel a boost of energy. On the side of Biblioteca, they're a roster that's got a lot of experience playing together, good chemistry built up, a lot of strong fundamentals. They are fairly new on the block, so I would imagine that will to continue playing a little bit stronger in their corner. We can move over towards the leaderboards now to get a better picture of where these 2 teams played things out back during the regular season. Though for Biblioteca, their performance has been a little bit limited. We haven't seen as many numbers of them, so that could spell a little bit more consistency. Arial Arise is really kind of middle of the pack in each of these columns. You're looking at players like Og, who is just a monster on game day. Adapt as well. Really got to watch out for him on the KPR. Things do not look very good. We don't have really much to watch from as far as Biblioteca, but I think that's more just there hasn't been enough performances where they're going against sort of meager teams. Biblioteca have not had it easy.
I mean, yeah, their semifinals match against Team Mystic, they came in, they took map 1 7-4. They only just lost in overtime on Chalet against Team Mystic as well, and then obviously the reverse sweep came in 7-3 on the final map going away Mystic. So I mean, as much as their regular season performance wasn't outstanding, the fact that they've come into playoffs, and you can see on your screen repeatedly, Team Mystic just across the board have been standout players in this tournament. They almost 2-0 Team Mystic in their matchup in the semifinals. So, I mean, you've got to wonder, just maybe they are the better team. Arial Arise, they're going to have to pull out something pretty spectacular, honestly, to match them up. Because obviously, they lost in the first round, the quarterfinals against Biblioteca. They dropped to the lower bracket. PDHM forfeit that win. So we have only seen one matchup here so far for the guys in Arial Arise in the playoffs this stage.
Let's go ahead and dive over towards to see which players are in the lobby tonight and what the rosters look like. There isn't much to speak of here. No plus 40 round differential like we saw with Team Mystic. Arial Arise has just kind of had sort of a mess season. A lot of roster changes for them. It's hard to really nail down what their team is looking like as far as play styles with everything constantly in flux. I've heard some speculation that maybe Arial are going to try out out new roles. I know Dami wants to kind of move away from flank watch, but there isn't as much room, and maybe the team isn't as flexible to accommodate that. We could see tonight's match here in the lower bracket be somewhat of a proving ground. If Arial Arise finds something that works, hopefully this could be a bolstering point for them to come back and start to find that love for Siege again.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that people, players specifically struggle with, across regions, across, competitive levels. There is the potential for burnout. You're struggling with the competition. Recently, we had it in ANZ. Nico was struggling with a bit of burnout. He then moved back to coach for what is now Team Order. And with Itby Style having made the change, he's going to step back, and now Nico's back in the main roster. So it is something you have to find that niche, and there are players who will struggle with that burnout. And I don't want to play this role anymore, and I'm just not enjoying this. And then they come in, they find their niche, they find their groove, and they're back in it. They're fired up, ready to go. And hopefully, we do see Arial Arise hit that stride at some point in the future. But at the moment, yeah, there's that cloud that is hanging over them. They're not quite stoked with the situation they find themselves in. That it's not the eager flow that you're expecting from a team in this position. So that could be something that works against them. And there you go, predictions on the board. It is leaning a little bit more the way of Biblioteca, especially given the previous result we saw between these two, and even the community. That's 51 to 49%. So it is pretty even on the whole.
Yeah, I mean, the staff vote is fairly decisive. It seems like we sort of know that Biblioteca have something up their sleeve here, but the community poll, pretty much a dead heat. I want to say that's probably one of the closest that we've had so far, and of proving to show that the community knows what Arial Arise are capable of, but the staff team seems to think that they're not going to attack this with full force, and that's sort of an idea that I have got to keep in mind here as well. Over towards the map vetoes, we can figure out where the battleground is going to be. Arial Arise, I think, coming away with this in a big win because their pick is first. They've got Villa. They can start this out, and if they get on the right foot going over to Clubhouse, maybe, that could benefit them a little bit more so. When you're looking at the map vetoes, things don't really, it's not crazy. I mean, Cafe, boring, Coastline, I
mean, it is what it is. I mean, going to Villa first, it seems to be this neutral territory map for a lot of teams in SCS at the moment. It's not the most commonly played, but look, hey, why don't we see how things play out here? We're not going to know until we get there in the end, obviously, but it is Villa up first. Given the indications that we have, Arial Arise opting to start on the defense. No, sorry, attack. Opting to start on the attack. My bad. Look, we're coming into this. Sticular operator bans obviously play a huge role in how a lot of these maps are decided. That should take off the board first by Biblioteca. Are we going to see anything crazy surprising, you reckon?
Maybe Arial Arise if they want to kind of just get us laughing early here and ban something totally wacky. I think there's sort of some discussion if we're going to see a ranged hard breacher or the Nomad ban. Arial Arise could do well with the Nomad ban, and there it is. It allows them to play a little bit more flexible. They really are eager to play more towards the roam, try to linger away from the side, and eventually burn the clock off. On the defender side of things, Villa is really predictable. A lot of times it's Mira and Cade, depending on which hard breachers are in play. Also, you might see some intel. We'll have the Melusi taken off, so you do have a little bit less of that slowing component when you're finally making your way onto the site.
Biblioteca. Hey, look, at least the guys are having a bit of banter. They're having a bit of fun. We do have unfortunately, not accidentally leaving the service, so there will be a pause after we get through this. And Smoke, the final ban, which means that both Mira and Cade have been let through.
Okay. I wonder how that's going to play out.
Hi, guys. I'm Lynx. I'm old Wednesday Adams
Lynx
himself.
The Smoke ban. Smoke is such a weird operator to kind of quantify when we're thinking about it, because it sort of works in the same way as Melusi. Right when you're coming into the site can be most beneficial, slowing you down, trying to stall the progress. But maybe this is something to upset Arial Arise's comfort. I don't think they're the world's biggest smoke team. They kind of can play every single operator, so that's not going to have such a detrimental effect. And obviously they're prepared for sort of more of an off meta situation going away with the Nomad taking her out of the equation. What are we thinking as far as the momentum? What value do you think that's going to add on to this?
I mean, name a more iconic duo than a Smoke anchor on an Aviator Games site. You mean, as an attacker, you're going to be looking to plant behind the vault door. Smoke is traditionally the one that is used to counteract that. You throw a smoke towards zombie, you stop that plant from happening or cut off anyone defending onto the diffuser as it is. So we're going to have to see, you know, both sides on their defensive halves play more around the nitros, play around those key placements in those positions to try and deny the plant that way, because now they don't have that security. They don't have the M590 SMG11 monster that will be anchoring down on the site. Malusi as well is another operator that is used to slow down that momentum when pushing into a lot of these sites, especially here on Villa. She's probably one of the most intuitive picks on this map. But I mean, it's going to, you know, require the necessity for some creativity. Aviator Games up first, and this Valkyrie, this is exactly what we're expecting to be seeing with the smoke ban. You need information around those default plants positions so you can look to go for the nitros.
Don't let the overlay fool you. I do believe this is Arial Arise's pick of Villa, which would make a little bit more sense. Biblioteca's veto pool is not the widest yet. They're still working on it. The one curious thing is the fact we didn't even really get to mention this.
Yeah, no, sorry, it is Arial Arise's. Yeah, you're right.
They have shown a tendency to play more of Chalet recently, which is really refreshing because we don't really have that one team in SCS where you can constantly count on them to bring this in, and it also sort of works kind of as a threat. You know, oh, all of a sudden you're expecting the new map probably to get banned out, and so that, for Arial Arise at least, kind of puts some pressure on them. They have to make the conscious decision to go to this map where they might not have as much experience, given that the team is kind of in a rut recently. They might not have put a lot of practice into Chalet, and that could become a serious difficulty if we see Arial play for the kind of best of three mentality where you win your map choice. It doesn't matter what happens on your opponent's pick. If we go to Chalet and that's a bad ground for Arial Arise, this could be headed towards Biblioteca.
Well, I mean, you've also got to remember that, you know, Biblioteca did take Team Mystic to OT on Chalet. They went down 4-2 in the half. They then brought it back. They went to OT and they lost in OT, unfortunately. But they were able to battle against one of the top-rated competitors in this tournament on the new map. And, Rice found a bathroom. Domi takes him out. Unfortunately, just didn't have quite the inkling that he needed to win that.
Well, there's a little bit of that role swap I talked about. Domi picking up more of a solid entry fragging role, and I suppose you could say Spiker's on the flank watch. Zero is flank watch in some respect. There is kind of some hesitancy that I approach that with, because Zero, you really have to take a step out of the action and constantly be resting on your cams. It takes a man away from the execute. That can be a problem on Villa, where you almost always are going to need to sort of play that skirmish mentality. 5 players attack the objective, 5 players move in, and you try to dominate the bomb site before the defense can play for picks. However, in that same sense, Arial Arise shut down Rice early on an aggro play inside the bathroom, so they can afford to take Spiker away and put him on cams.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, like, you see these names popping up in and around the scene, especially here at SCS. You see those chops and changes, and seeing Spiker coming in here, joining the boys on Arial Arise. It's an interesting addition to the team, and already you can start to see this impact that he's having, those cams going up, watching the flanks, providing that key information so that his entries can do their jobs, giving them that security. And, well, unfortunately, Woods is the next one to go down. Unfair does find that down below on the first floor. Hard breach gone. Not the most vital operator to lose, or to have alive coming into the executes here, but it's one. I mean, he's got the smokes, he's got the AK-12. Definitely something that could have been useful at the very least.
Without the smoke, perhaps that won't be as much of a weakness as we would have thought about before, with choke points being a factor now, the main door over at Zombie as well. Perhaps games push late towards the end of the execute to be considered here. With no ace in play, that's going to mean the hunting vault wall stays closed. Og tries to play the game of peeking the tall angle, but Nicolo is ready for it. However, Spiker moving in on a moment of intuition. He gets traded out as Nicolo has managed to retake Aviator, closing in on the Zombie door, now with control of the diffuser, but Domi out of nowhere finds Unfair. A triple kill for Nicolo is now ended as Domi responds with a 3K of his own. One-on-one between the Zoe and the Wamai. Diffuser's recovered, but there's 10 seconds on the clock. However, Helio, no explosives to stop this play. He's gonna have to challenge for the gunfight. Moment of hesitation, he'll go forward. Domi bails out the plant, going for the pre-fire, and it'll land. Domi, what a play! The quad kill already. The action begins quite quickly here in round 1.
I'm not sure if the chat is meant to be, you know, as big as it is, but fitting is the only way to describe that. Revitalized. Domi coming into this, playing a new role, feeling very comfortable on it. That shot that he clipped onto Unfair in study, all he had was a pixel to work with, and he still makes it happen. Just absolutely revitalized. You can feel him hitting his stride. This is what I said. You find that rut, you continuously play a role, you don't enjoy it anymore, you need something fresh, you need to be revitalized, and that's exactly what we're seeing out of Domi at the moment. He's coming, he's finding his shots, he's connecting, he wins his gunfights, even in a round like that where he shouldn't have. Biblioteca had the tools they needed to delay just a little bit longer. We didn't need to see that gunfight come out, but he went for it anyway. Domi still wins it, and Arial Arise, a hard-fought victory in round one.
Definitely so. Arial Arise, no strangers to Villa, having brought it against the Gatekeepers when they played in the opening match of this season, taking Gatekeepers deep into overtime, but unfortunately choking before they could close it out a 6-8 in favor of Gatekeepers there. They brought it again just 2 weeks later against Smokebreak, which was a fairly dominant result for Arial Rise, and that match really was an exhilarating one. You'll have to go back and watch that one once over again to see how it played out. There is a lot of lessons to learn with the context of that game, and this is really starting off. Arial Arise needed that win desperately. That gives them so much momentum for Domi to step up, the player who almost we never get to actually spectate in the match because he's at the back line. He steps up, he says to Nicolo, "You're not doing anything else," puts him in his grave, and really drives his team's effort forward.
They are going to augment that. Ironically enough, with Org himself, they're going to bring the IQ, look for that information, look for the gadgetry, try and find whatever they can. They were anticipating, I would imagine, another Vigil pick here, which is probably one of the primary reasons why we see it being brought. Give Domi that added information so that, you know, he can come away from the gunfight a little bit healthier than he did in that last round. But no Vigil this time. It's going to be a mute instead here for Rice, but it's still gadgetry that can be spotted out, can be shot out if they utilize that scanner correctly. And Arial Arise, they are going to go for a different approach here in this round. We did see Domi just power through, you know, he went in, cleared out bathroom, he walked in through a statue area, cleared out all the way in, and then rotated out and pushed in from study instead. So they are not quite similarly approaching things, but there's definitely that hesitation. They're saying, what interesting thing our opponent's bringing in this round? What can we do to open this up and gives ourselves that advantage? So they are still paying plenty of respect here.
Kind of respecting the boundaries of Biblioteca's defense. They don't have that opening pick to back up their push, so things are going to have to be approached with a bit of a different pace. Still Woods to lurk out on the study veranda. He did so last round. Rather, he was caught out in the last round, and there was sort of a late rotate situation. Arial Rise, you're going to want to have control of the study balcony. Locks off the opportunity for someone to play aggro inside study, close at the aviator door. Always such a contentious position, especially with the smoke and the Malusi ban. If we see this game try to trend a little bit more towards the objective play, as I would imagine it would. We saw a plant attempted just in that previous round, but more so as a tool to bait out the defense, force them to make the move. So vertical play being approached. You've got Og below, spotted out a mute jammer, a couple ADSs as well, but it's Rice who gets the opening word. Biblioteca start this one off with the okay. As Biblioteca, that is a good way for them to begin this one. Losing out on Woods, your hard breacher to go down with no use of his utility for 2 rounds in a row.
I mean, it's unfortunate, yes, but it's not the end of the world. Obviously, we've already seen things proven here by Arial Rise. They don't necessarily need their ace to make this happen. Secondary hard breach gadget is there, and Adapt is the man watching the breach now as well. Couple angles for him to have to cover, but the utility's definitely there. They can look to still flush out these defensive positions. But Spike is already on the plant. They're in the bomb site, ready to go. This is a very accelerated approach. Nah finds one. Unfair finds Nah. They're losing players, but also finding those kills. Domi, though, doesn't care. He doesn't give a damn. He finds 2 more and brings it back. Equal here, Stick. He's going to have help from Adapt, who finds the kill onto Rice. And it's Helio once again. This time, though, not in a 1v1, but in a 1v2. The plant is down and time is ticking away. This round went from 0 to 100 insanely fast. And Domi, surprise, surprise, the one to shut it out again.
Yeah, really stepping up in that moment as he moved into Aviator. He managed to peel away 2 kills. Compound that with Biblioteca, an awkward Nitro TK. And that round went from 5-on-3 favor Biblioteca to... guys, what do we do? The case is down and Arial Arise have got a good crossfire built. That's 2 rounds going as Aviator in games comes up with nothing for the Biblioteca defense. Finally, they're going to recognize the value of the site rotation, see what trophy and statue has in store. Arial, the way that they're playing this is right on balance. kind of the timing there was excellent. Moving in, they know that the smoke cannot deny their plan, so they use that to leverage their way into two massive gun battles, making sure that there was an immense disadvantage for Biblioteca retaking inside of Aviator, where Arial had guns trained and ready.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being
Well,
used by attackers.
yeah, it's a case of they tried it a second time, they made some minor changes, and even then, it didn't really matter worth much. Arial Eyes had the answer. I mean, it wasn't necessarily quite as an accelerated plant, but it was still one that came down quite cleanly for Arial Eyes in the end, even prompting some mistakes coming out of Biblioteca as well. You saw unfair nitro selling out Nah, who had just found a frag moments earlier. So frustration and mistakes costing Biblioteca just a little bit there, one would imagine. Second time did not work, so they prompt a change to split. I wonder, Stick, is this, Arial Arise, they're coming into this, there's some minor changes that have been made. Domi now, though, 7-0 in 2 rounds. Is this the, the unlock that Arial Arise needed to take on some of the top competitors in the scene?
It might be. I mean, Domi is just having a game all to himself at the moment here. You've got a roster that's loaded with talent. That's been the story for Arial Rise. Every single one of their pickups is like front page news, essentially, when they got Ogden Woods, the Joe duo from back in EPS Season 5. That was just like, okay, where is this roster gonna go? How are they gonna blossom? Arial kind of had a few struggles here or there starting to build the roles up, but I think putting Domi on the entry, it's only 2 rounds of a sample, but he's 7-0, and we haven't even really begun with the 3rd round of play here. If Domi keeps this up, honestly, he is on track for the kill record, and I would not be really, after seeing this start, surprised to see him shatter this here. It's Arial Arise's pick. Clearly, there's some reason why they went here. Maybe Domi showed up like this in a scrim, and so they're just looking to harness that energy. Certainly working in this way.
I mean, going into round number 3 at the moment, yeah, like you said, Domi, he's reverse super at the moment. 7-0-0. They've taken some good control early. They've got into master. They've got the preparation they need to start opening this wall as well. Woods has survived the longest we've seen him so far. And Helio is just being absolutely bullied for the moment. Unfair below, though, might be able to disrupt here. He's looking for what he can. And there we go. I believe that was the Nitro Cell coming out. Impact Trick coming through as well for Helio. Looking to try and stall this out as long as possible, but the footholds are going to be opened up. Can they find any more? And it does look good here for Arial Arise to establish some of those angles. So they do have a crouch hole into the bomb site, but it's about establishing some angles so they can actually get in and go for the plant.
Threatening angle there towards split as Domi begins to tease it. Lifeline will go in. Unsure if that managed to land successfully to break the deployable there inside split, but if it did, that's going to constitute a larger weakness here on the round. You can see some fire beginning to spread, likely Nas Vulcan Shield the cause of that. Still testing the entry point. Time is getting awfully low, but that'll be made a bit easier. Rice goes down, an instant trade, however, as Niccolo manages to find one onto Odd. Spiker's there for the trade, though, so Arial Arise maintain their man advantage. 1 up as we eclipse the 30-second mark. This round really going to come down to the strength of individual plays. If Biblioteca can manage to deny the plant to stall their entrance, that could be tremendous. Moving forward here, ooh, bad timing. Tommy, again, suddenly finding kills in a space where you wouldn't imagine it and adapt for the final pick. Arial Arise, a blitzing start to Villa. Domi's killing spree continues. When is the pain gonna end?
Well, given that we've seen 2 of what are traditionally 3 bomb sites played on this map, I don't see it ending anytime soon. Domi, just undeterred and unstoppable so far in this matchup. He's averaging, 3 kills a round at the moment. That's just some phenomenal numbers. He's still yet to die here going into round number 4, and the fact that he has been in as many gunfights as he has and is still being no closer to death than in round number 1 is wild. Pause being called here, and it is by Arial Rise as well, interestingly enough. Maybe given the hover here for Adapt, maybe it is something to do with him. He's disconnected or something froze. Who knows? We don't know for sure, but I mean, the momentum that we're seeing being generated here, I would be surprised if the half ended anything shy of 4-2.
Yeah, that just doesn't look like there's any other way this can end. Arial Arise have a lot of momentum. Their frags are just off the off the jetty here, and Biblioteca can't shut them down. The refrag game, it's not looking the best. There were a few kind of brief glimpses into what a Biblioteca defense is capable of, but nothing really conclusive for the 3 rounds played. Arial Arise begun, Aviator in games. It was really close. That looked like a Biblioteca round. Dami was just like, no way. They went back to it again, and an even more dominant victory then. Now Trophy and Statue. The Biblioteca defense not looking terribly hot. A few suggestions, maybe play surrounding with more intel. I think that's a little bit lacking. Kind of Arial Arise poking holes here and there, maybe bringing a Valkyrie on top of someone like a Maestro and an Echo. Maybe it's just bringing more bulletproof cameras. They need to know where Arial Arise is at, and the way that Arial are playing is so flexible because they're just moving around. There's no smoke canisters to deny any entries, and I think that's really allowing more of a consistency in the flow that they're approaching every single round. When they reach the walls of the objective, there's nothing that can stop them.
I mean, not to mention the fact that obviously Malusi, the other defensive ban, Banshee's not there to slow things down. A significant lack of bulletproof utility that needs to be cleared out. I mean, you're looking 3 Banshees that need to be cleared at some point on the way, either into the bomb site or on the way to the bomb site. That's gone. Smoke canisters, yeah, like you said, they're no deterrent to slow down the push. I mean, bring a Legion, especially on split, go for something like that aggressive walk-in hold with like an Ella or a Mute, something like that. Give a power position as well, mind you, with that shotgun, make it so much riskier to push into the actual buffer room before you get to the bomb site. There are tools available. There are definitely tools available to Biblioteca. Maybe they're not being utilized because they're not quite sure what to do with this smoke being banned off the board, paired with the Malusi. It's not like they don't have options. It's just, I think maybe we're seeing a case of Biblioteca are so stuck in their ways, they're not willing to utilize what's available to them.
I think this pause is going to help Biblioteca a little bit. They're going to recuperate, kind of figure out what's going wrong, maybe devise a dastardly solution to shut down Dami, because that has got to happen. Dami is picking up a multi-kill each and every round. It's not always on the entry. He's kind of still playing somewhat of a flank watch role towards the end there in the 3rd round. Waiting inside the bathroom, a position that is difficult to fight against, and the defense not confronting it in the way that they should, not having the intel to make an educated play, and so as a result, they kind of try to do something, it crumbles, and it's just like, oh well, what do we do now?
Well, that is the question. I mean, Domi has single-handedly been a disrupting factor against Biblioteca that almost seems like it's unanswerable. And as we are going to jump straight back into it, there we go. I would imagine it was probably something to do with Adapt. He's now 6 picking off Lithiana, who's seen a wild rise in play to the point where she's even catching bans over an ANZ at the moment. Just because of how much she's almost like a pseudo Ash, still has the same amount of utility destruction in those 2 frag grenades and the Gon 6. But I mean, you've got the Gemini replicator as well. And here we go. What is the play here from Biblioteca? Because they really do seem not able to answer this matchup that is coming at their way, and honestly coming with some very real aggression as well. They bring the Maestro, like you said. They are going for some more of that stall utility play. But I mean, is it enough?
Certainly hope so here moving forward. We've got the Maestro coming in, which does kind of fit the bill here in providing a little bit more utility. This is the first sight of a Maestro, the Valkyrie, a returning theme. So you're doubling down on the sake of that intel. Better to make a little bit more of your coordinated plays, hold off until the end round, and then try to use that to create a little bit more leverage to burn out the clock. I think that's something that is a little bit absent here. Valcam tossed out, but it's immediately spotted by Og. I wonder if that is a Valcam, or maybe it could be one of the Wamai magnets. I mean, both of those are going to be frustrating, but if they're trying to toss a frag grenade in to clear some utility inside study and the frag doesn't go forward, instead kind of slingshotting backwards, that is not going to give you really too much of a fun time. But given that Og is playing on the IQ, that's not going to be an issue. Bit of a different attack this round. Not the Master Study side, or rather Master Trophy side overtake. More focus on the main stairs and Study. Og to find Rice, but then there's the trade, not a moment later.
I mean, exactly the same as you saw in the last round. Og finds the opening frag, he gets traded out immediately, but it's still huge damage done. That's one of the 2 nitro cells you had on the board, one of the 2 vertical deniers on the plant. And they're just doing so much work. Gemini goes in, spots out the Valk Cam, they can destroy it immediately. Adapt going to find the kill onto Unfair as well. this is a vastly different matchup than we saw in the quarterfinals. Arial Arise coming in swinging hard. Domi is one frag away from hitting double digits going into round number 4. He's averaging minimum after this, if he gets a kill, 2.5 frags per round, which is some accelerated play and some that we have seen very infrequently in this matchup. Impact there is going to be looking to deny that Selma. They do get it, so there's only that one panel that is open going into games for the moment. But I still don't believe that is enough to slow down this Arial Arise roster.
Arial not wasting any time or pulling any punches. Helio almost had a shot there on the woods, but it's the Selmas that are successful. Spiker, strong position here. Sam Cam to go out should disrupt the Jaeger. Nicolo still waiting, holding firm. The reverse repel is such a tough battle to go against. Nicolo just trying to wait and hold out here for as long as possible. The time waste that this could benefit Biblioteca with is something they sorely need, but Nicolo nearly finding an opening for 2. Domi's not going to lose that battle. He'll get the DBNO, but not the full confirm, and no one quite in position to get that confirm either way. So the Jaeger, for the meanwhile, is going to lie on the floor. In fact, now rotating backwards. He's going to get back up and into the fight. This could be a threat that Arial Arise are not prepared for. Adaptus managed to sink his way in, find a few bits of intel as Helio dips around the corner, serving Domi his first death all game and earning Biblioteca's way towards a successful Aviator defense, seeming that the pause helped them a great deal here.
Sad. Unfortunately, Domi can't achieve his 10 frags in 4 rounds. But, I mean, yeah, it's Biblioteca. They do mount that comeback off. Interestingly enough, it was Arial Arise's pause that they mounted that off the back of. So, I mean, maybe it was just time that was spent that communicated. They are going to be heading down to Dining Kitchen, it would seem. So they are still a little bit wary of Split for the moment. They're going to change things up once again. I rate it. Honestly, I do. The changes, even though they haven't panned out every single round, have been good for Biblioteca. They've given them, not necessarily a real chance of the round, but at least a reprieve from the incessant beating that had been handed to them up until that point by Arial Arise. And, Cade, we talked about it. It has been let through. It's going to be picked up here for unfair. They're going to be utilizing that as well. And this is one of those picks that is so incredibly strong on this site.
Well, there's definitely always room to stop the hard breaching progress, whether that's going to be for the laundry wall. This might be kind of the later stages of this defense, or perhaps we'll see Unfair take his Electroclaw upstairs, reinforce off the triple wall to stop or at least hinder some progress in gaining the vertical game. You don't have a sledge here, which is a bit of an odd one. You do have 2 sets of breaching charges, 6 in total across Domi and Og, but that is a little bit more limited than you would like to have. Nah will set up another Valcam, but Og is just continuing to play on the IQ, so I don't suspect that this is going to be too much of a problem. However, if Og chooses not to equip his Mark II detector inside the master bedroom and Na's black eye cam is allowed to stick around for longer than it should, the 3 nitro cells on Biblioteca are going to constitute a much larger threat than they would originally.
Oh yeah, but you've also got to remember this is also beta IQ because she's not running the G8, so effectiveness does come into question there. If you're not running the G8 every single time, what is even the point of playing IQ? The scanner's really just, it's a pleasant treat, honestly, but at the moment it's Adapt. The first one in, looking to push in through Study, clear across horizontally, but Nicolo going to be the one on resistance for that mark. Just look at the defensive setup. They've gained everything, they've geared everything, rather, towards that master bedroom push, and Arial Arise saying, no, we're not going to go that way. We're going to go for a much more linear approach. Clear in through Study, get control vertically, and then pressure onto the bomb site. Nicolo might find himself very overwhelmed in the coming moments, especially given that Spiker is there with Adapt. They can set up the flank cams, they can get the Gemini into position, and they can flood in, get that vertical control, and just look at him dancing around. We could see him, Helio there as well from the looks of things, just in Master itself. Oh, head spotted, but it doesn't matter. Adapt just too clean, too crisp. It's a pixel that makes the difference, and he almost gets Nicolo as well.
Dual option play right now for Arial Arise as they work on securing control of the top floor. They've already got a big bounty. Helio put down. He was an impact player in the previous round, and now Domi secures his 10th frag all game. But Nicolo and Rice will have their cake and eat it too, as they both collect kills individually. 3-on-3, back at equal odds, drone in the mid site, not to take it out, but still 2 nitros left in pocket. Biblioteca have not given up their top floor hold, and it looks like Arial kind of recognize maybe it's not the smartest option to continue pressuring Niccolo when he feels so at home here. Will begin to creep forward. There's a Sam Cam waiting at red landing. That could be a freebie. Niccolo, the head of Wood, spotted, but the shots do not connect until the bitter end, and a perfectly timed swing by Rice. One to hop in the detention window. Has Spiker gone undetected? Perhaps not, as the gun barrel is trained, but that won't matter. Spiker to kill Rice. 2-on-2. Arial Arise have managed to steal this one back. The diffuser far out of control. The nitro, an impressive shot mid-air. Dami has not stopped eating up. He'll continue to march forward. The diffuser needing to be recovered. Niccolo creeping forward, trying to work his way closer in towards Memorial. Lifeline to go out. Dami hoping that he can get a little bit of detection. Oh, but it's uncovered. He'll move through, catches one off guard. The bail off for the plant to Niccolo with the big 2K to round out that retake on the middle floor. Biblioteca around close. Dami doing more than his share, but the Jaeger simply could not be stopped.
I was initially going to question why we saw the rotate all the way in through Memorial, in behind them. But it speaks for itself. He finds the first, lines up the player who pulls off the plant. Spiker had no chance to react, given that Dummy had just been felled. And this is the power of having Nomad off the board. I mean, you've got next to no real significant flank watch unless you're willing to sacrifice one of your picks for a gridlock, something like that. And just the reaction time to be able to put down a Claymore to deny a play like that as well. They didn't have it. They had to go for that plant. They had to cover their angles. And wow, what a round from Niccolo. Did some real damage, and as much as Helio was the impact player in previous rounds, Niccolo has still been there chiming in, finding big frags, and well, Stick, we find ourselves, I did say, I was going to be surprised if we saw the half go 3-3. We are 1 round away from that eventuality.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of just to the benefit of Biblioteca. They've stormed back in these rounds, though Arial are keeping it competitive. I think this game is kind of living up to the hype that I would have expected it to from the old Arial Arise form, but just the same as Biblioteca are a new team that is still developing their character. Arial in this match are building a new identity. Dami is a monster, not the player we usually expect to turn up, but he is doing oh so beautifully well playing on the Zofia role. For a player like Og to be so quiet, it does bring a few questions to what is currently ongoing. Dami and Og, not really the character entry duo. Adapt's got a few important kills so far this match, especially in a moment where Arial Arise needed. He's able to find one, kind of wiggle his way into an opening, a chink in the armor. So far, though, Biblioteca have fought back. Still standing here on Villa and looking for that 3rd round here in Split. Going to Trophy and Statue. We'll take a look at what this final round of the first half will look like.
Bomb located by attackers.
Well, Adet, looking for the can into the bathroom there. Fnatic skin. Look, I'll be perfectly honest, that Fnatic G36 is pretty clean. So if you're a fan, definitely get behind it. It's Fnatic, ironically enough, doing phenomenally well in APAC playoffs. Not a position that people have seen from them recently, but here we are. We're still in SCS. That is the primary focus for the time being. Spiker is down and dining. Looking to cover those angles from below because those nitro placements are so key in that master bedroom. But look at that. He's relatively solo down here in Fair, the closest player, and he's over by Piano.
This is a weird roam for your Goyo to be in. Maybe unfair. Just wants to kind of hang around. He could be a late problem with the nitro cell and just creep around. Spiker not looking to give things up too early on. Niccolo is a little bit close for comfort there in the bathroom. Niccolo, he'll walk up, find 2, and run away as it's another play that Arial Arise are a little bit unprepared for. And Niccolo, he is not underwhelming this match, forcing away your hard breach, getting rid of your only set of frag grenades. Dami is going to have to fill a huge void, but Og is looking to make a play as he's still waiting. We're at the bottom of the Astro stairs. Niccolo battles on his 3rd kill. The Og will go up, but the G8 doesn't connect. Helio seemingly prepared for that as Arial Arise have got nothing done in this round, leaving Spiker to try and pick up the pieces. He'll find one, shuts down the killing spree of Niccolo, who has now managed to rise to the occasion at equal kills with Dami. Evil Eye still lingers around. That's not going to make this job really any easier. Got the Goyo to test up the staircase. No more nitro for unfair. Spiker seemingly aware of the threat that the Goyo could pose here. Inching his way forward. Helio's got a shield. There's seemingly no way that Spiker's going to be able to move forward as he baits off of one engagement. He gets peeked by a second, but not having any chance in that battle. Spiker patting the KD continuously as Biblioteca tests the angles and get nothing but the wrong answers.
There's so much information still available. They can still make this one work. We'll shoot out the camera as well. Evil are going to be less than effective in these situations. There's still utility, but Rice swings it round, and Biblioteca will equalize the half. The only thing that is separating both Domi and Niccolo right now is a single death, and it is in favor, I suppose, of Domi because he's got one less. But I mean, Domi was firing on all cylinders, and then Niccolo showed up and said, actually, you know what? You're not the only superstar in this server. I can go toe-to-toe with you. And here we are, 3-3 in the half. Arial Arise, they came in with vim and vigor, and it's been stifled.
Niccolo is a player that can be very scary on the server. Sometimes his performances are lackluster. He was kind of off and on when Biblioteca played against Team Mystic. Nothing but on in this match so far. Biblioteca, a 3-round comeback as they are marching deep into Arial Arise territory. They're going to have to pull off that same recall. Why is he running the blitz? Rice, hello?
Why not? Why not? Biblioteca. They're going for the bold. And I think Nah is maybe missing that Nomad just a little bit, given that the ARX is the gun in play rather than the G36. Wow, what a comeback so far from Biblioteca. We see now we see what Arial Arise will be bringing into the fold. We see some changes, some slight ones, considering what was brought in the previous half. Alibi making its way through. Not something that we've seen just yet, but an operator that has seen a fair amount of play as of late, given that she does have the shield. Those Prismers as well, they're so good. They just misinform and distract, and if you can place them in the right places, they're so hard to destroy, and they're windows that you're pre-firing anyway, so that's just free information.
All eyes on Rice to see what he's going to do with the shield here. Maybe Biblioteca thinking about a rush play? That's really about the only usefulness you'll see out of a blitz. If you're thinking to the past, I specifically remember a very distinct match where G2 would put Pengu on the Monty or the Blitz, whichever was unbanned, and then have him charge up the games hall simply because you can't really contest a Blitz moving down such a one-dimensional hallway. But that is probably not what Rice is really thinking about here. There's still the option to go for that play. I mean, he could move down games, try to deny a 90 swing, but Arial Arise not really focusing on 90. This is more of a realm below right now.
The last time I saw Blitz, it was on Oregon. It did not work at all. And, well, there's a reason it doesn't get played much in ANZ. Niccolo looking to try and catch the player out. It is Domi, surprise, surprise. The two that have been going neck and neck trying to find the lead in this frag battle. Gets the information. Domi finds Rice. I believe that may have been over the back shoulder or into study. I don't know, but he was there anyway. He'll take that round or kill lead once again. And Niccolo walking up. Oh, it's just a pixel that's needed. Player watching the cover. Not quite watching the right angle. Oh, Helio's just there, but better. And Rice, yes, misclick, quote unquote.
Now, we all know the real story there, Rice. You just wanted to play the Blitz so you could do the Battle Pass challenge. Spiker's not been cleared, though, which is weird, considering Biblioteca looked like they had control of the first floor. Getting rid of Domi is beneficial. No more play at the top of the stairs, and as Na will peek the 90 window, he catches Adapt, who was seemingly off guard and ill-prepared to take the battle against the repelled player. Niccolo will bail off of his position from the study veranda, maybe eager to think about coming in from below. The mute jammers are kind of stopping the hard-breaching progress right now, and so Niccolo's successfully with the lifeline there will make sure that the mute jammer does not stall their progress any longer.
I mean, look, Rice at the moment, he's 1 for 4 on entries, so I think it's his territory that he's going to be used to. Woods in games at the moment, feeling a little bit of pressure as that will start to be opened there by Unfair. They've got the man count, at least Biblioteca. They've got that working for them. health. Not necessarily the cleanest. His unfair is going to drop as well. They were going for that plant. Couldn't quite pull it off. Nikolai walking in from behind. He gets dropped as well. Woods finally getting on the board. 1-1 and 5. Swinging for more. Can't quite catch Helio out. And speaking of, he's the one to swing. Org finishes off Nah. And it's just down to the one remaining player. And Woods doubles up in the round. Arial Arise take the first of the half. And quite commanding fashion, honestly, given their deficit to start things off.
It's a big round to win and kind of a sad one for Biblioteca to have trolled with the blitz pick. I think we'll see Rice be a little bit more precise with his operator selections moving forward in the game. Rotation to trophy and statue. I like the problem solving there from Biblioteca. New jammer in the way, so go below, clear it out. Ariel Rice's roam hadn't really been enough of a problem to deny the lifeline. Additionally there, it's good to see Woods start to turn up in the game because he had a donut until that very round, getting 2 important kills, shutting down any hopes of a clutch attempt, and also 1 kill that he got in the mid-round. I believe it was Og who secured the down onto the player attempting to plant behind the U-bar, so a lot of props to be spread across the Ariel Arise squad in that performance. Moving over to the other top floor objective, we will see Biblioteca move into more of a concise lineup, no blitz to be seen, no shield play whatsoever. That was a close attempt, though, I have to say, for Biblioteca to have brought in an operator that really contributed nothing successfully in that round. They almost were able to formulate a successful execute.
You gotta wonder if there was something else other than the blitz. Maybe was it going to be a different round? We won't know, unfortunately. It played out the way it did, and we will have to move on. Going into round number 8, it is going to be split, making its way through statuary and trophy. Look, it's hard to call how some of these rounds are going to be going, given that, you know, the momentum shift is so significant. The most rounds we've seen strung together, obviously 3 to start things off, 3 back for Biblioteca, and now it's Arial who have picked up the first of the second half. And I mean, if history is to repeat itself, we would potentially see them pick up another 2 from here. But I think at this point, things are going to become disjointed. We're going to see rounds traded back and forth, just given the momentum. But I mean, look, oh, Dommy, look at that. Bullet hole play. It's a bit of a bait, honestly. I think he's just going to sit around, swing the doorway, try and catch people out. Then Nicola, surprise, surprise, the first one in. Drone's going to be shot. Oh, spots the elbow. Dommy, very lucky to escape there. Will pull back into the bomb site, get himself a little bit more cover for the moment. But that could have been a big frag to find.
Now, 4-leaf clover in the pocket of the Jaeger there. Dommy is thankful to still be among the living here in round number 8. Spiker has begun to flank, something that Biblioteca have to watch out for, but Rice is unaware. There is no air jab because, ta-da, Nomad is banned. And there's no zero Sam Cam, as awkwardly, Helio still has 4 left in pocket. You got to make sure that you deploy those aptly and don't leave open such a big weakness in your defense. Now, Dommy being on low HP doesn't matter so much. And Spiker, oh, so close to finding an opening and a weakness there. Will try to come chime in from the red stairs, but working his way forward, shut down on the immediate reaction. Oh, Dommy needing to play this careful. Will try to go for the fadeaway shot, just covering his rear as he backs up from the sofa door.
I mean, look. It's usually said if you play dumb games, you're going to win dumb prizes. Somehow, Dommy doesn't lose. Carries on. Org with the Nitro. That is a pre-placed one. That has been out of pocket for the longest time, and he still finds a kill off it. Dommy as well chimes in for yet another, and things are looking pretty bleak here for Biblioteca. Helio and Nah, the last 2 remaining actively in this round. And 4 players still left up for Arial Arise, with just hitting that minute mark left in the round. Alibi Prisma as well, going to be revealing the position of Helio. There's only so much he can do. They have taken out Spiker at least, so that's 1 less Nitro Cell, and the remaining Nitro Cell that they had to worry about. The pre-place, they very rarely come into effect, but when they do, boy, do they hit hard. Nah, primed and ready to get himself going into the bomb site. Frag grenade going to be cooked up here, but Adapt, he just wins that gunfight. Helio falls, and Woods just stringing those frags together now in the second half, takes down Nah. Arial Arise, this is a different beast we're seeing out of them.
Working their way up to a 2-round lead and trying to recover from what was Biblioteca storming back into this game. Arial just 1 short round away from match point to kick off. this lower bracket best of 3. A few issues to look at in that round. I think Biblioteca played the 0 a little bit too conservative. There is some benefit, I'll say, to deploying the Sam Cam very late in the round, just sort of tossing the Argus inside of Trophy to try and suss out the positions. Didn't make a damn difference there for Arial, and the round was lost. I have to say, maybe putting a Sam Cam up towards the staircase or the gridlock, as much of a cursed topic as that is, maybe just a Claymore. I mean, you got to put something in the way here, because Arial Arise, they banned the Nomad, which tells you that they're playing into the Villa Realm.
Need to locate and defuse bombs.
Look, I mean, at this stage, this new revitalized Arial Arise roster, I said it a couple of weeks ago, but I said it wrong. This is a situation where it looks like Arial Arise might be able to take the whole damn thing here. If this is the form they're bringing deeper into the playoffs, I think, honestly, if this is the form that we saw them, that they're bringing today, if we saw that in the quarterfinals against Biblioteca, 100%. They take it, 100%. They could have gone and beaten Team Mystic as well. But unfortunately, it was not to be. It's only just come into effect now. But look, I rate this. I really do. Arial Arise, this is another entity entering the server here. And we're going down to Dining Room Kitchen. The 4 Nitro cells set up as well, plus the mirror coming into play. This is formidable. That is the only way to describe it. This is going to be terrifying, because as soon as you go to contest one of these angles above, you have to watch out for the threat that is below. And with the mirror in play, that's, I mean, you're just being threatened from every level.
I like this mirror strategy. This is something creative from Arial. There were a lot of unanswered questions about whether or not we were going to see this kind of play out like the, I don't know, the Mickey Mouse SCS match, or if Arial were going to give it a little bit more of the old college try. So far, it's a lot of the latter. Arial are playing at a different level so far, actually giving some thought into these rounds. The mirror extension. Biblioteca are looking a lot like we saw from Arial in one of their dining attacks, where they approached this with a lot more consideration to the horizontal push, coming in from Library, taking control of Living Room now, and then making their presence known as we approach Memorial.
Well, it seems that, well, maybe Biblioteca just bypassed this whole vertical setup. They just come in from the first floor, don't have to worry about that mirror setup upstairs that could be their undoing. Closest they've come so far is Niccolo playing on that Astro window, looking for something, looking for anything. The diffuser will be picked up, given that it is downstairs. You have to wonder if they're just going to say, you know what, we don't want to deal with this nonsense. We're going to be going in, and there we go. Unfair's already in the bomb site, and the dining is going to be unfortunately killed by Woods, who was tucked into the corner there. So they read that very well. Niccolo going to find a kill onto Org, but at the moment it's a consolation prize, as Domi is there to catch him on the backside as well. Once again, Helio and Na left in an untenable situation here, Stick. And I mean, it was a good read. It could have been a huge play, but Woods, they didn't drone him out. They didn't know where he was, and he's really cut them off at the knees.
No additional kill for Woods. Nitro to go out, maybe thinking about the creation of a painting rotate, but Spiker will close that round down before the rotation was even necessary. A good read on the situation there from Biblioteca, but a very poor execution. Funneling into the UMP, never a great idea. You want to drone out that pulse, make sure that the intel is there and that the option is not open for that player to line up the headshot. We all know what the worst gun, so-called, in the game is capable of when you feed it. And that's exactly what had gone down. It allows Arial Arise to move up to match point. They simulate the success they had at the start of the first half. But the question on my mind is, will Biblioteca be able to secure the 3-round comeback that they had done through rounds 4, 5, and 6? I think this is probably the right moment to call for the timeout, because you have no road left ahead of you. You played every single primary site in the rotation, and none of them have been successful.
I mean, it is very much a question. Does history repeat itself, like you said? And at this stage, well, there's no reason for it to not to, other than the fact that Arial Arise are riding high in that momentum. They really have just come out of the gate swinging. They woke up this morning, they chose violence, and that was the best option for them, because Biblioteca, they did not. This is, I don't know if this is a case of them coming in underestimating their opponents, given they beat them the first time around, or what, but they are vastly underestimating their opponents here. Yeah,
that's a tough one to call. I would think maybe if Biblioteca's Performance was a little bit consistent across the board. Things could look better here. Arial have played much better in the team game. I mean, take a look at that last round, for example, where you've got Dami lingering up above the hatch, just vertical to Laundry, waiting for the longest time. Eventually, Biblioteca try to approach Laundry. They never drone up the top floor, and so it's a freebie for the player with the Vector to collect, thus putting the round in even worse a situation. Helio already taking some damage. Arial Arise are not being shy about this vertical hold.
Once again, we see that deep roam. Well, not necessarily deep, but it's enough of a roam off the site that Biblioteca have to be genuinely concerned about it. Some teams will run, all the way over to Master, all the way even down into Dunny, even into the basement. And then some teams will say, look, that's so far away, we don't really have to worry about it. But Helio is the one on the hunt for the moment. He's looking for the dual roam that we're seeing out of Arial Arise. It is pretty close-knit as well. Spiker and Org playing off a close proximity. But Org drops down to the basement. Going to be going for that deep roam. Spiker is still in Gallery Vault at the moment. Finds damage onto Helio, but it's not enough to get the frag. The drone is going to spot him. And Helio pulls out behind the desk. The active droning now coming in. There's very little support for him, so I wouldn't be surprised if they just give up this angle entirely, not wanting to take this gunfight because it could cost them so severely.
Helio's not the one that I would put in this battle. Nicolo is like below in the basement. I'm not sure what he's doing down there, but Spiker distracted a moment by the drone, but as he peeks up on the opposite end of the pillar, he does shut down Helio, but there we go, and that's what Nicolo's doing. He's waiting for the drop down below the hatch in such an unusual way, but he does get the refrag. Credit to Nicolo, he got the kill. It kind of came at the cost of baiting his teammate, but for a 1-for-1 to shut down Spiker on the roam and to force Og away from playing inside of Library, I guess you could chalk that up to a win for Biblioteca. The refocus, Dami towards the Jaeger player here waiting at the main stairs. You have members of Biblioteca trying to funnel in from study, and Rice just waiting for a moment, an opportunity to push forward. Bit of damage exchanged onto the Zofia. Here goes Breeze. It's time to make the play. Rather, Rice, he'll go up. Two big important kills, and suddenly Biblioteca claim advantage. The mute is shut down as Nicolo finally finding his form and equalizing against his opponent. Og, the last man standing. The MPX, such a pea shooter weapon. Can he make it happen? Unfair for the adjustment. Rice, eager to push forward, actively challenging. Oh, but he'll give it away. This round just became a whole lot closer. Og's got 50 HP and a dream to make this happen. It's unfair 2-8 where all the pressure rests on. If he can make this happen, Og would be the hero of Villa. But you can sense his hesitation, knowing that it's the Type 89 he's up against. Nitro tossed deep, but it does not connect, not even detonated. But the down is there. Og, he'll go for the teabag. He deserves it. Biblioteca out in the first map. Arial Arise and Og, what a clutch.
Thanks for banning Smoke, comes out in chat. And look, Arial Arise, they battled that one tooth and nail. They put on a real show. Org, what a clutch. I mean, we talked about how quiet he'd been throughout the main run of this match. It was largely the Dommy show. And then 4K, final round. Boom. He's back in it. He's pulling his weight. And I mean, that looked like it might have been the comeback story. 3 rounds to kick off the first half for Arial. Then Biblioteca bring it back 3 rounds to kick off the second half. And then it looked like maybe, just maybe, Biblioteca, we're going to repeat history there. But no, not to be. Org says, not today, guys. They will take their first map in playoffs against Biblioteca. They went down 2-0 in the quarterfinals, and now they've finally broken that streak. And off the back of it, going into map number 2, that gives them that safety net once again.
And Arial Arise really shredding Biblioteca's mental here on the first map. The rounds won only in streaks of 3 or 4, but Arial Arise managed to pull away at the important moment, and Og, despite such terrible odds in the 1-on-3, I don't know how he does it, but he manages to make it happen. Never count Og out, and that mistake hurt Biblioteca badly. It's going to send them away from Villa to next Clubhouse as we stare down what's looking like an Arial Arise in their best form that we've seen yet here in SCS's playoffs. Before we proceed to the next map, however, we'll be taking a short break. Don't close this tab. SCS will be right back. Welcome back, everybody. I hope you're as excited as we are, building up to the second map here in this lower bracket shootout. So far, Arial Arai showing up in a way that not many were exactly predicted to, and Arial played out of their minds. Dami at the top of the kill count, living up to a role that we don't often see him play. Now moving next to Clubhouse. This was the opening map that we saw the last time these two teams duked it out and went in favor of Biblioteca at a 7-4 scoreline. But this new Arial Arise is looking like a much improved team, so we'll have to see how everything will play out moving into Club. I'm Sticula. Joining me here is Blue Panda. What predictions do you have as far as operator bans?
Look, I'm not saying outright that we're probably going to see a smoke, but I wouldn't be surprised if we do see something like that come out again. Actually, yeah, no, look, honestly, the way it worked so well last time, I think we are going to see something like that. Maybe not necessarily the smoke, but potentially the mute, given that, I mean, there are so many more positions that are a little bit more impactful, given, you know, the denial and operator, in information and the drones, denial and breach. He still has that C4 as well. But maybe something like the Iana, I would imagine we're probably going to see conventional stuff as well. So honestly, attack-wise, Thatcher, Maverick, probably going to be the go-tos. It's a question of, do we see the traditional defensive ban operators coming out?
And Smoke is such a quintessential clubhouse operator. I mean, you're talking dirt tunnel, CCTV, and cache. He's always a problem that you have to worry about. So what effect will that take place here? You know, maybe we'll see the Tachanka stepping in if the smoke does get vetoed. I can certainly hope so. Tachanka's not really an operator we've had all too much, and I would love to see the statistics about where Tachanka currently rests in the pool as far as operators we've seen in SCS. Have to go back and do some homework on that after this game. The Clubhouse is just ahead. Biblioteca have to come out of the gate swinging. The problem with that is Arial Arise. This is Biblioteca's pick, and so Arial get the first defense, which serves them a considerable advantage, and Biblioteca already have to fight an uphill battle. Coming into this, the mental must be fresh. Biblioteca need to step back, ignore what went down on Villa, and say, coming into Club, this is going to be our map. Let's battle it out here so that we can move forward, regain the opportunity to win this series, and see what Chalet will look like.
Well, that's exactly it. And honestly, I mean, Biblioteca, that's what they're going to be hoping for. Maverick will be the one to kick things off. Arial Arise take that off the board early, so no real surprises in that opener. The question, though, becomes, does Biblioteca want to take away Thatcher? Do they want to give themselves some options? I would imagine we're probably going to still see it banned out. There's no reason for them not to. But, I mean, that last performance, it was rather one-sided. Thatcher, there we go. No surprises. It's honestly, I think the defensive bans is where things might get interesting.
Yeah, that's usually where there is more of a question left up in the air. I imagine maybe Biblioteca could think about the Mira. It came up in a few chance rounds. I don't think it was the deciding factor. Certainly was a problem. We'll see them ban out the Valkyrie. That's curious now because Biblioteca, I feel like, played more of the Valkyrie on Villa than Arial Arise did, so maybe they're not wanting to suffer from the cameras. A lot of times, it feels like we see one operator on Club just banned out so much that you never know what playing with it or playing against it really feels like.
Yeah, and Malusi, once again, which means Cade has been let through the pool. This could give Arial Arise a lot of momentum in the half. That's something that genuinely needs to be worried about here.
Yeah, I mean, Cade up with Thatcher and Maverick ban. Ugh, that is not going to be a fun one to deal with. Though I doubt Biblioteca are going to ban or are going to play the Cali. This could be an option later down the line if the rounds are really just like, you know, we can't do anything about the Cade. So what are we going to do here? Mira on the basement side, I feel like, Dami, this could be a 6-pick from him. We'll see if he locks it in. There it is. So he will 6-pick away. We'll see he decides to go for the Aruni rather than the Cade. So, I mean, hey, Aruni has had a big jump in her pick rate recently, and I'm liking the way that Aruni works. He's a very dangerous long-range operator, something that the defense don't always have a huge abundance of.
Yeah, well, it's not going to be the DMR this time. It is going to be the P10 Roni, but I mean, just the utility denial she offers as well is pretty wild. I wonder just maybe if this, you know, the lack of a Cade pick is because it's something that they're not used to playing with, given that majority of teams will be banning that out. So I think maybe Arial Arise defaulting to what they traditionally play in this matchup. Double hard breaches on the attack. So again, nothing crazy out of the ordinary. Everything here that we are seeing makes a lot of sense and is stuff that is played quite often. But we are seeing that SSG-ish style roam, that extension up towards Master with the Mutant Mozzie combo that a lot of teams are favoring more and more now that Rooney's in play.
Attacker's objective is to locate a bomb and defuse it.
I mean, this is just Clubhouse at its base level for the basement hold. Extend up above, waste all the time as much as you can, and the Echo is one operator that kind of strikes me off balance here. If you maybe took out the Rooney and the Mozzie and replaced it with like a Jaeger and maybe a Castle, this would look like a really old school strategy. Echo was such a prominent Clubhouse operator for a long time. In fact, you know, even before things like Valkyrie and the constant Cade ban, it was Echo every single time. Couldn't play against it. It was always a problem to deny the plant, and nobody wanted to worry about that at the last moment, so you would just choose to ban out the Echo rather than actually have to deal with it. August looking for an early confrontation. Niccolo served. Quite a scare as the pre-fire comes and the wall bang delivers just a tiny smidge of damage. Nothing consequential already, but certainly Arial Arise making their presence known. Woods just took a mountain of damage, though.
They're looking for these aggressive gunfights early on, and unfortunately Rice was just a second too late to cover the cross there, or just pulled back after trading over some damage. But yeah, Woods very, very close to death, just brinking on death's door at the moment. These goo mines are going to prove a real hassle, so it's not quite the full SSG style roam, given that bar hatch has been reinforced as well, so it's a pseudo, as is more often the case than not at the moment. Utility already being utilized to get themselves into the building. They've opened Jacuzzi, opening some of those angles towards kitchen. They will meet some resistance very, very soon, but it's whether or not they've droned it out is the key question. Are they going to have that information? Are they going to be able to find those angles and frags they need to get into the bomb site? Because already huge amounts of time wasted here for Arial Arise. And Spiker, look at that. He's going to have to go through strip to get back involved. And Org, this is a power position if you have that information, but I've seen this one work poorly so many times.
Now, the big hope there for Og is that Biblioteca simply don't drone behind the bar because they don't expect someone to be behind the bar. And that mistake is going to cost them one death. Your hard breacher, one half of your hard breaching component to go down. It's very unlucky, but Spiker, such a missed opportunity. He was a threat that even I had forgotten about over towards the stripper side, but luckily for him, there's not really enough time for Biblioteca to pursue him. There's 30 seconds to go on the clock. Biblioteca have to make a move. The right idea would be force onto the site now, knowing that you're a little bit weaker. Niccolo, he manages to find Spiker, but time, maybe that's not going to be the deciding factor. Adapt to pick off one. He won't be able to fend against Niccolo, who takes the brunt of the damage and not to seal the deal. Biblioteca, that round, a close shave. A little bit of poor timing there by the members on the roam. That could have been two different players collecting multi-kills if they had only timed that right.
I mean, it was just a couple of unfortunate repositions there. Aggression that we probably didn't need to quite see out of Arial Arise that early on, but it is what it is. The round was played out the way it was, and now we're going to be heading over to CCTV. Woods, he's back on his smoke, so he's going to have that comfortability at the very, very least. But that, you know, Cade being paired with the Bandit as well, Whammy Jaeger in rafters, there's so much power coming out of this defensive roster for a CCTV hold.
Yeah, I mean, good luck, Biblioteca, because they're really going to need it to clear all of this utility. I think the one concern here is, what does Arial Arise's presence on the first floor look like? Is there going to be anyone holding in garage to support the rafters play? Are they going to play maybe a player sort of loosely over by blue or by swamp, maybe in lounge, to try and stall out for somebody to go play the vertical game? I'm watching the Cades because I wonder if Spiker is going to place them. Oftentimes, you'll see them placed on rafter side, which looks like the plan for Spiker. So I suppose now both Electroclaws placed on the convenient 1 and 2 numbers on the wall. Spiker will be able to stop the hard-reaching progress, and maybe if the timing is good, be able to peel one off and throw it at the wall once eventually Dami falls back.
And Dami looks like he's going for a Bandit trick almost. Late reinforcement there. He's got all 4 batteries in pocket. This is a dangerous game, especially given that, you know, teams have become so used to having to clear from below. So no surprise that Rice will be probably making his way in. But look at that all the way in through dirt. Very aggressive setup down in the basement, trying to pinch on the player, I would imagine,
Bomb located
in
by
secret.
attackers.
There's a number of options available to him. Bring out those cams. Yeah, look, there's not even anyone there. Helio drones it out, spots the fact that there's no one playing secret, so they can open this wall from below. Domi still has yet to put batteries down. Niccolo, watching the backside of it. That's a risky angle, Domi. Does he have any idea that he's in real threat? I think he does, but he's going to keep playing that dangerous game for the time being. And battery
Like he had
in hand.
exchanged.
This is risky. This is so risky.
Oh, maybe Niccolo is going to get distracted for a moment. Few shots through the barricade. Augie is not keen on giving it up, but the decision is made on behalf of Domi. He's forced away from the wall. He'll escape with his life, though, which is a pretty big benefit to him. Domi can now take his batteries and put them on the cash wall, which is going to force Biblioteca to make the conscious decision to send Niccolo a Rice below inside stock to play the vertical there to clear the remaining utility. And there is also consideration that needs to be given to the shield there at smoke spot. Biblioteca, not with a flank drone down under the bicycle. He's still waiting there at bottom blue, just inside Arsenal. Niccolo has got the breaching round ready to try and destroy the shield as his teams will communicate the red mark with the...
Oh, boy.
Breaching round is so far off mark. I don't know what happened there, but Niccolo needing to practice with that launcher a little bit more inside the T-Hunt.
So I have to wonder if that was a case of the shield was picked up, placed before the first one could destroy it. The second one went wide, and then the third one was utilized to get it. Because, as I was saying, it's Domi to find the kill onto Helio. So as much as they have done some early... Ooh, okay. I think that was a frag grenade from below. No. Yes. Either way, he's down. Org finds the kill on Anar to trade back, though. So no more remaining threat from the frag grenades, but with Domi on the ground and pick up... They're able to be picked up. Spike it. Chimes in another, but there we go. Domi finally falls. Unfair is going to find himself that frag. Niccolo trying to peel in for support, but the two remaining players here for Biblioteca very much disjointed, and as strong as that first round was, this one is the same, but for Arial Arise this time.
I was just about to say Unfair has dodged away from construction. Instead, the refocus over towards the rafter side. He'll pick up his confirm, but that's about all he'll get as Niccolo moves in. He catches Adapt unaware. Could he go for the second? He does attempt it, but Woods is there and ready with the shotgun. Arial Arise, pick up a round, and finally, we've ended that motif of rounds being won only in streaks of more than one. As we'll see it go 1-1. We're back at equal. Arial open up the scoreboard and guarantee that we'll see a competitive clubhouse to be played.
Well, it's 1-1, and we are going to see Arial Arise look to head to gym instead. The last minute switch off the basement. The call's been made. You see that mirror coming in. Still no Cade to make its way in here other than in round number 2. So obviously, you'd have to question, is it something they play with? An Org on the 6th pick, maybe it is going to make its way through. Was on the Aruni, still hovering it for the moment, so no decision made. It's going to be a Frost, so they are going to double down on it. Something that has seen more and more play in the competitive scene. It's back in the meta. It's incredibly relevant at the moment, although depending on who you ask, some people do consider it a bit of a troll still.
I want to say that was maybe Arial trying to bait out the basement hold with the Rooney being 6-picked. There's a chance it could have just been a late decision to be made there. We did not see Jaeger from the basement hold. Arial Arise was quickly looking back to see what that had actually looked like, but the main gist of it was kind of have a lesion, play for goo mines, lurk in some corner, and then the Aruni hide until there was really no more hiding to be done. This hold, it's the standard, everything that you expect in a cache extension. Biblioteca have to be prepared for this. I saw a tweet the other day, a thread talking about what the preferred way of attacking this extension was, whether that's to send 2 players early to get open the jacuzzi breach and then to refocus over towards CCTV.
I'm not sure what Nicolo's doing there, but oh lord.
He's just practicing. He's just warming up. He wants to be ready for the entry because, I mean, you got to get your frags here. This is big time. You need to move in. Seems like maybe so far Biblioteca will open up the hatch above. I think they're going to send Nod to get logistics. Fair find Spiker. Where even was that? He just peeks through the window and connector and shuts him down. You can't be losing your Jaeger so early. Maintaining control of the man advantage, crucially important here for the extension. Should be enough, I think, for Dami to hold off, but the time wasted by this extension, now the fact that Spiker is down, that's really the real gambit here.
I mean, early damage being dealt, and they're just cleaning through this utility that is now in resistance. And oh, the mirror window. This is such a... Oh, no, Niccolo! Oh, that's brutal. He pulled off at the worst possible time, and Woods was there, able to connect. Those are the moments that compromise your mental. Hopefully they can bounce back from the drone from Unfair. Is going to split out the player in cash at the moment. Domi very much aware of his positioning here, our Biblioteca, and they're going to start to open up those angles, start to push him off cash, and they've done that now. But there's two very unfortunate frags, one for each team. Oh, no, with the drop in for two! Finds both Domi and Adept as they were trying to coordinate a pullback into the site, and they're looking for the angle. It's top red. Can he find it? Or top main, rather. And oh, he's done it. He's taken out Org. And it's Woods alone in Jim. This round has come apart at the seams. And, oh, this is just Arial Arise. It's not even throwing. It was just a series of, as Lemony Snicket put it, unfortunate events.
Yeah, that was just kind of a rough one for Arial. Facing Nah with a whole magazine, and he held down the trigger until Arial Arise's defense was no more. Playing close in TV corner there, just inside the master bedroom. Biblioteca, 2 attacks, fairly decent margin. And I need a couple more at least to guarantee they've got something of confidence here on their map selection of club. Overall, that gym, that was, I mean, a few ups and downs there. I have to say, I wonder what it would have looked like without Spiker dying so early on, if he had been able to hold back the presence. One little microcosm there, I like the fact that the Womai played that. With the impact, he was able to kind of slow down the hard breach. There was, I say it was like 92 seconds when he eventually left, but the retreat was watched so expertly. It felt like Biblioteca were preparing for that play the whole round. To have not go up above, open the logistics hatch, maybe watch for the mirror when she fell back, and then eventually just say, nobody's in here, I might as well jump down.
Well, I mean, it was just this series of horrendously unfortunate moments. I mean, Spiker got caught from the con window by Unfair on the fadeaway. They then lose Niccolo, who opens up the floor from below, trying to get the mirror window and Logi. And then both Domi and I believe it was Adept got caught rotating into Logi as soon as Nah dropped the hatch and he gunned them both down. Like, that was just, like, unfortunate. Doesn't even begin to describe how unlucky all three of those situations were. And it's one of those rounds you just choose to forget because there is no real way to break it down that timing was the issue there, and there's very little you can do to actually combat those moments.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of those moments where it's not the strategy that really failed, it's just the execution was not optimal, and Arial Arise, the few weak points there were created by the players. It's hard to come back after a loss like that. Arial Arise just kind of have to take a fresh look at it and say, how can we play this differently? Maybe it's adjusting the certain positions. Perhaps, Og has more experience playing for cache coverage through from inside construction. I don't know. We'll have to figure it out, but we're down to the basement here. Same strategy as before, though a notable change. You've got Woods bringing in smoke, Spiker on the Cade. So you don't have the Legion here, but I doubt that's really going to be much of a problem. I think focusing more on having the Electro Claws to be able to stall the hard breaching process could assist this one a little bit more so. Og feeling a lot of pressure at top of blue, but the attacker backing that drone, maybe too hesitant to push up or perhaps playing the safe route.
Well, I mean, at the moment, this is the first time in the series that Biblioteca have had the round lead. It is, early as it is still in this map. Oh, look at this setup. They are doubling down on this church wall. And, I mean, it's going to make it so much harder to deal with utilities there. Oh, explosions galore coming out. Spiker's Nitro not connecting onto anyone, unfortunately. But look at the vertical work that's already being done here. Biblioteca have so many angles to play around. The biggest problem, obviously, going to be that church wall. They need to clear out the utility. They need to clear out whatever is in position to deny. And Spiker, look at him. He's ready to contest onto main. Helio going to be tagged for the moment. Pulls off the angle. It's just such a strong position. It's almost scary.
The Cade play is becoming quite a substantial issue for Biblioteca. We saw 2 frag grenades sent down the Moto hallway, neither of which were able to get rid of the Electro Claw, and that's going to mean the hard breaching progress really grounds this round to a halt. What else will contribute to that is Og playing through the vertical as he catches Helio lacking, taking the diffuser out of possession. Nicolo's there for the recovery, but he wants to see if he can secure the kill. Maybe gun out the Jaeger. He's there below the hatch. Great play by Nicolo, as Unfair will contribute as well. Getting Dami waiting behind AKs, perhaps? Woods with a badly timed pre-fire will get the confirm. The shotgun comes out, and a glimpse of Nicolo is spotted. Inching his way forward at the super box, rounding the corner. Elbow spotted. Nicolo making a huge play for his team. Spiker's going to have to take the gun battle. No nitro in hand, but he expects this to be a default plant. What we know, it's Nicolo over by dummies. And Unfair is not going to lose that fight. Biblioteca strong on their clubhouse attacks as they will widen their lead to 2 rounds.
According to my notes, and as accurate as I can possibly take them, in 3 of 4 rounds, the opening gunfight has been Org killing Helio, which that's unfortunate. That's rough. That's going to be chipping away at the mental, but Biblioteca, they still bring the round back regardless. This is the most significant lead they've had so far this series, which is crazy to think that, we went 3.5, and then that was it for Biblioteca. They couldn't bring it back. This is an attacker-sided clubhouse that we're seeing so far. Given, yes, 2 of the rounds so far we've seen played are basement, which, at the moment is slightly more attacker-sided for the utility available, but we are going to be heading back to CCTV, which is the round that Arial did win. So this could be another round on the board for them. But, we saw last map. It was Arial Arise from start to finish in control, determining momentum and playing it out their way. This time, it's Biblioteca. We very rarely could see CHALET come into play.
I think it needs to at this point. I would not be really content with this series if it didn't give us the full length. And we talked earlier about what Arial Arise are going to look like. That would be a good question to ask in the interview. In the case that Arial Arise do win, whether it's flat out 2-0 here or 2-1, eventually ending on CHALET, what work have they put towards CHALET itself? Has there been, a lot of scrims, maybe some theory? I would hope they have strats prepared. I know Oregon has been one of their weaker maps, not one that they like to play terribly too often. Perhaps that's changed recently. Arial Arise kind of reeling on club, though. Down by 2. They need to get some more defenses here, especially Biblioteca have a capable defensive setup, which, Panda, certainly you would expect.
You could expect a number of things coming into this matchup, but you saw map number 1. This is not really the situation you would expect, given that Villa was so brutally one-sided. Biblioteca, once again, starting early, getting vertical, or getting that deep roam clear out. Again, straight into basement. Spots the drone onto Org, who will shoot it out. So they have information of this downstairs presence. Org is clearing out these flank drones that have been put in. And already 4 of 10 now destroyed. So that is huge information potential done. And they lose another one. That's 5. That's 5 drones off the board.
Biblioteca have been a little bit more cognizant of the drone game, but what they aren't aware of is Dami, who just says hello outside the window. Why does Nicolo go for the chase there? The decision was made, and it does not pan out well. Not only now have Biblioteca lost half of their drones, they've also lost 1 hard breacher, so it's going to be a little bit more limited, and Unfair is going to have to play oh so carefully in getting open the construction wall. But also, Nicolo is down, your signature playmaker. The 1 drone that he had is now unoperable. And as well, maybe any flashbangs. Another player sent in, if Dami had collected that one there, the mental would just be completely shot. Og will challenge in. He had not been cleared on their own. Biblioteca did not pay very much mind to him. It's going to cost them 2 on 4.
As cool as it was, Unfair flying sweep through the window to catch Dami, they just don't have the information. They really don't. And Org playing in pass room still. They have no idea that he's here, so he can pinch in from behind, shut it now down as well. This is easily a aerial arise round, and there's very little that you could do to convince me that it would go otherwise. Nah, yeah, he's dropped the diffuser down. Rice not nearly in a position to be able to pick it up. He's going to get one, but it is only one. He's sitting down below 1/4 health. I mean, he's what, 15 at best, and he's got 3 people to find. That's 3 very big headshots that you'd need to hit on the fly. And don't do it to him, Keratos. And no, he loses it.
Bad luck.
My lord, Rice. Yeah, look, that was toying with fate, 100%. Adet deserves that. But they're sitting on the diffuser. They are positioned there. Toxic canisters in play. Yeah, there's next to nothing Rice can do to pick it up. He's got it. He sneaked away. He's going to be hitting into cash, but he's got to go for the plant. There's not going to be any time. Yeah, he pulls off. He's going to save his stats. Does get a cheeky knife to the chest, but after this fact, there's no chance that he goes down. Look, as much as that round was very much aerial arises, that was a bit cheeky at the end.
Yeah, I feel like you kind of just have to take that end of the round there and sort of put it in its own category. For the serious part of the round, Arial win, and it's an important moment for them to shut down Biblioteca. It was a tough round to lose on Church, and they come back on CCTV, but now we head to Gym and Bedroom. Only seen this site once so far, and it was a bit of an awkward one, going the way of Biblioteca simply because Spiker got caught off, and Nah managed to drop the Logi hatch, collecting 2 in the process. So maybe if Ariel or Rice just execute this one a little bit differently and have less issues with timing. It's such an arbitrary issue to try and quantify, to say, oh, fix your timing. Well, I mean, kind of how?
Well, a watch would be a great start. But look, coming into this, CCTV, they've won it twice now, Aerial Arise in their defense, which, I mean, we did sort of expect that it was going to be another round that they would contest quite capably, but so far, Basement has not worked for them. They're going back to Gym, which is the other bomb site they did lose as well, which, not the greatest of indications going into the half, given that it is the final round. It was the interesting round, let's put it that way, the comedy of errors, so to speak, in certain situations that did not play out nearly at all how they would have wanted. And hopefully it's a little bit tighter, it's a little bit cleaner. Honestly, the Aerial Arise, they're in a position we could see 2 maps in a row where it is going, both teams going even in the half.
Some discussion there about who's going to take control of the case. It'll be Nah. So we've got Unfair jumping up on Jacuzzi balcony, drones it out first. Probably going to detect it. Adapt has put a mute jammer there to stop an immediate opening of the Jacuzzi wall. I actually didn't manage to catch a full glimpse of that. See the Selma toss down, and Rice playing gingerly outside the Gym window. Jaeger just on the opposite side. I think Helio has managed to open up the plat wall, which would be the one threat outside of the window play. Rice will adjust as he shoots the mute jammer. That means the Selmas are going to be successful. And the Jacuzzi wall open means that you can't play so comfortably there at the top of the main staircase. Progress on the cash front has been fairly slow, I would say, so far. You've really just got Helio looking at it, and maybe this is Biblioteca not going for the cash clear.
Well, I mean, it's a case of, do you circumvent what your opponents are trying to bring and brute force straight into the bomb site? Because it's one of those things where it might work, but then you've got, players flooding back towards the bomb site to try and counter you. This is information they're getting. The drones are big. They are trying to clear out this position. Selma is in, but the mute jammer behind it means there is some security plus those ADSs. Utility is not going to be quite enough to clear things out. And Orb, look at that position. Niccolo, does he have an idea? He's going to swing onto the stairs, looks the wrong way. And they lose Niccolo yet again. He was the key player in enabling that push into Logi for Nah last time around. They weren't able to get the mirror, but at least they were able to threaten from below, and Spike and now in position and covering, not letting Nah do the same thing 2 rounds in a row, but frag grenade could be good here. Nah on the toss, Spiker goes down. And this is the power of a great player with those frag grenades. Oh, he might even double up for a second one. Woods, no chance, down on the floor. And that is huge. Aerial Arise coming apart again.
Finally, an opening gain despite signature playmaker Niccolo being out for the count. They've got 1 down, and Woods is getting closer and closer to his demise. Oh, tough affair. Og is challenged in, the savior of his teammate. Woods is back up and into the fight, and Nah will not get the confirm. He'll have to battle up against 3. Defenders standing tall. The sledge player
15 seconds left.
eager at the doorway, but that shield is going to block his path, and it allows an easy peek for Woods. Arial arrives, clean things up on round number 6 despite 2 well-placed frag grenades. That was not enough to put them over the line, and we'll see this game head 3-3, stepping into the second split.
2 maps in a row, 2-3-3 halves. But last time it was Arial Arise who came into the second half swinging and ran away with 4 rounds straight. Given that Biblioteca, they felt a little bit more comfortable here on the map. Now heading on to the defensive half, you've got to beg the question. I mean, looking at the stats on the whole, Arial Arise, they did have and overall, you've got to admit, it was a better win rate on both sides of the coin. Both attacking and defense were above 55%, whereas Biblioteca, their attack, surprisingly, was the weaker of the 2 sides. So, I mean, maybe that's an indication they're going to be feeling a little bit more comfortable. We know these guys play a phenomenal defensive half as well. Biblioteca head down to the basement first. Mira in play, Goyo in play. A lot of utility. 3 nitros, 4 nitros, in fact, coming in here. And, well, this indicates that it's a very aggressive counter to that vertical gameplay that Arial Arise will be looking for.
Well, I'm sure none of you have really forgotten the rivalry we had between Dami and Nicolo earlier on Villa. It was Arial Arise who had begun on attack. Dami at the start of Villa, playing his signature Zofia, collected 9 of his total 14 kills across the span of 3 rounds, playing the Zofia that we now see him on here in round number 7. So perhaps we could see that start to heat up again. Dami, both, and Nicolo, both players having great performances on Villa. It was really in the first half that they each had shown up. They went a little bit quiet as the game became more strategical and more down to the count in the second split there on Villa.
Well. I mean, honestly, it just speaks for itself. Arial Arise, they went pretty rough going into round number 5. They then brought it back. They won. They're 50-50 on Jib, which is crazy enough, but Basement has been a very much attacker-sided affair so far in this matchup. We'll see if Biblioteca can break that trend. They've got the tools. They've got the defensive utility, but, I mean, do they have the gun skill? And we know Nicolo very much has that in the bag after last map. Domi as well being shut down. It's the Org Show this time. Oh, playing a dangerous game there, Nicolo. Will still get away. Nitro cell placed on the armory roof. Can they find a frag off it for the moment? Detonation will be coming out. It's still being held for the moment, though. So if a drone spots this, that could be utility wasted.
Slow start on the round. You've got a breaching round detonated, I imagine, maybe in the floor? Not sure exactly where is Og, speaking of him, maybe applying some pressure.
I think it was on the hatch.
Maybe?
Yeah, I think it was on the hatch just above Nicolo, yeah.
Okay. Kind of a slowdown here in the round. Not the fast-paced action that we might have been thinking of, but generally for the church site, a lot of setup and a very short execute, which is sometimes a problem for teams. You've got to be able to move quickly, and there's some fast feed as Nah manages to launch a Nitro up and take out Og, who has been...
That Nitro was sitting there for 25 seconds. It was just thrown up on the... Yeah, it was pre-played. Like, he just left it there, and I was like, how long is he going to sit on this? And boom, Og's gone.
It reminds me of the pre-place. We had one earlier on Villa that just sat there the whole round until eventually detonating and coming away with a big prize. And
I believe it was Org that time himself that was the one to do it too. That's ironic.
All right. Well, Og needing to play, maybe bring his flak jacket into the fight. You can see the Electro Claws. No fun for either team. There was so much of a struggle in the church round for Biblioteca. They were just kind of waiting to try to get this open. And nade tossed, but the hatch is just... It was on the pot?
Oh, no!
You're kidding.
Attackers dropped the
Just the realization moment. That would genuinely just hurt your brain. Domi finds a kill on a Nah, but Helio's there for the trade. My lord, they spent so much time clearing those angles, clearing the utility, and it was upstairs the whole damn time.
15 seconds left.
That's just a rough one there. 2-man drop. Spiker's eliminated. Now Adapt has to find 4. He's not even given the option, as Helio will end the round in style with the Nitro launch from deep in the dummy corner. Here we go.
Bunk.
Kind of anticlimactic end of the round. But opening up the second half, it's a Biblioteca win. One that they need. puts them back in the driver's seat. This was earlier on Villa. The second half was like, okay, we're starting off the second half, and then it was just like bang, 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 bang. Arial Arise ran away with it and did not leave any openings. Biblioteca are on the defense here, so they've got a little bit more credence. CCTV and Cash to come through. Mira being played hello. She'll be 6-picked away. There's the Womai we usually expect.
Yeah, well, my Jaeger is it's honestly just a terrifying prospect. But the interesting thing now brought in a CCTV Cash hold. There's no breach denial. They've got an Rooney, yes, but no breach denial on the hold. So this would indicate Biblioteca, they're expecting the CCTV wall to be opened up. They want to take their gunfights that way. So I wouldn't imagine we get. Yeah, it was going to happen eventually, but it's one of those cases of why waste the utility knowing full well that Biblioteca will find some way to deal with it. Let it happen. Let's focus our efforts elsewhere. Try and hold down the likes of Top Red, hold in through Cash, hold in through Garage, make them work, because there are very few situations where you get CCTV open. That's the only thing you get open, and you can win a round off that.
I've seen this start to become a little bit more prevalent recently, where instead of the usual rotate for Rafters, you'll just have sight lines opened by an Aruni, if that's going to be who plays up here. It's been a long time, I feel like, since I've seen a dedicated garage take. That just really doesn't happen anymore. There's been a big resurgence recently of something that we call the split take for players who are a little bit newer to comp. What a split take is you attack from split directions. Usually on CCTV and Cash, what that consists of is the hard breaching process to open up the platform wall just directly adjacent to CCTV. And then once that is done, you'll sit some player out there on rappel to kind of hold the cross, make sure none of the defenders are running willy-nilly between sites. And then you sort of refocus more over towards the construction side. However, this doesn't really look like a split take. We've seen this sledge option where he'll come in from the basement. I feel like every single time CCTV is in question. Nah had mixed success. One time he tried to come down there, Og was waiting for it, and he was just like, nah, I'm not going to deal with that.
Well, Dummy finds the opener under Niccolo all the way down through Lounge. That's a big frag as well. Niccolo, I mean, these two power players, Dummy and Niccolo, were the two big fraggers in last match, both amassing a total of 14 kills apiece. That's just huge numbers. And then coming into match number 2, Org, the one to step up here for Arial Arise, and Nah, the one to step up for Biblioteca. So it's good to see, when one doesn't show up, there are others on the team who can fill that void. But losing Niccolo early, they trade another one out. They take out Unfair. Arial Arise, they're doing well. They lose one more themselves for it, though. But Niccolo and Unfair both going down early. That's a Nitro, and that's a key gun off the board. And that is damage that Biblioteca might not be able to bounce back from.
I was just waiting here, but Og will jump away before the Aruni is able to pounce. Got two players stepping in below. Where is Helio? He should not be there in the middle of construction, or rather CCTV, and Spiker's gonna make him pay for it. That is, I mean, that's just unfortunate. You really gotta play that a bit better. Maybe he was feeling threatened because the reinforcement had been open. But either way, that's Rafters now capitulated. The two-man defense, Biblioteca hoping to hold off. 3 gas canisters is some solace, but Spiker's not leaving any room for error as he'll blow Nas sky high. The sledge to peek it, Rice will adjust. Surely they've got to know that Rice is in one of a few positions. Adapt finds an opening. He'll creep forward for the plant, and Rice has to do something. Unfortunately, he peeks into the one angle covered by Dami for Arial Arise to earn their recovery on the CCTV attack.
Well, I mean, we are probably going to see, as you would expect, coming into the second half, rounds being traded back and forth, as is the case. The most rounds run in a row is 2 for both teams. Biblioteca the first take it in 3 and 4. And then Arial Arise answered back with 5 and 6. CCTV coming out. They're going to double down on this bomb site. Again, it was very much a case of positioning and timing, letting Biblioteca down. They got caught out in the wrong place at the wrong time. They didn't have the coverage they needed. Niccolo getting absolutely wasted from main entry there by Domi. That's just unfortunate, to say the very, very least. And once again, they are going to bring Breach denial, but interesting, again, they don't go for the Cade.
I feel like Niccolo is kind of... The way that I worded this earlier is that Niccolo has on and off games. He's 6 and 5, which is like, you're not being pursued by your team, but that's not really a good game. It's not a great game. And Niccolo kind of needs to have a good game because something we haven't really mentioned much par for the start of the stream is the fact that this game, if you lose, if Biblioteca do not manage to push this into a win and head to Chalet, it's done for. You're out of the season because we're here in the lower bracket and Biblioteca's chance was already lost when they suffered defeat against Team Mystic. Arial Arise are hungry. They want to continue playing in the season. They recognize that they have talent and that they can compete at this level. They just kind of have to apply themselves more, and that's what this has really been. It's Arial Arise, a team that is full of talented players, living up to their potential and playing in a coordinated fashion and, you know, not trolling the elo so far.
Well, at the moment, Unfair is looking for that bandit trick once again onto the main CCTV window. We've seen less and less of this as late because a lot of teams have already practiced going in from below and clearing out that utility. And, well, Spiker, he's gone for a different route altogether, it would seem. Rather than going through Dirt Tunnel, he's gone not quite a circuitous route, but through Strip this time. Same, but different, all said and done. We'll be pushing in Niccolo. Oh, found again. Just being punished in these off angles. Who would have thought Sledge would have been pushing in through Strip? Certainly not Biblioteca, and it's cost them.
Losing out on that star player, and Niccolo continues to suffer on the defensive split. Pressure from out at the window. Adapt is searching for his opportunity. Flashbang sent in, the first captured by the ADS, a perfect bait. Unfair read like a book as he'll challenge in, but Helio is there for the defense as he gets ogged before the frag can be sent in on the confirm. However, Dami has got a lot of presence. He'll shut down Unfair, getting the confirm, and Rice's DBNO'd as well. Helio and Na are not in great positions. They have to focus up for this round. You cannot let the momentum on these defenses start to swing in favor of Arial Arise because we saw on Villa how quickly things shifted gears and Arial Arise raced to match point into an eventual victory without any mercy towards their opponents. Dami's got the lifeline, sent in. What? Biblioteca just kind of swing into it. Oh, but Rice is up in the fight. So at least you're back at 3-on-4, though. The health for Rice could certainly be better.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that kill is with a down, rather, onto right. Oh, frag grenade. Oh, that's rough. Spiker just threads it. Lands the kill. Oh, no, that run out is just perfectly read into. Domi, again, just knows what's coming. Helio left alone in a 1v3. Well, 1v4, 1v3 now. Does get the kill onto Spiker, but with the health that he's got, 99 bullets and a dream, tags the hip of Domi, but that's about it. Woods now on the plant. He does have impacts, could try and deter that way, but Adapt is watching the cross. And again, 2 rounds strung together. It's picked up by Arial Rice. I'm pretty sure Rice got downed on the fadeaway from Domi jumping off Suicide Belt.
That's what it looked like. 99 problems in a CCTV attack win isn't one. Arial Rise, look at the position they're in. So quickly things can change, and the defenses for Biblioteca are not what the hype really lived up to. They have got to start playing together. We're seeing Niccolo roam somewhere and then just get snuffed out immediately. Dami in round number 8 found him, and then Spiker coming in from the strip push in number 9. Niccolo, there's no other way to put it than he has to step up because the rest of his team is not playing great. Na had a decent start early in the match and was sort of kind of being that rock, that anchor for his team, but Niccolo's playing Jaeger for a reason. He's got to be able to connect shots. He needs to force Arial Rise away because the thing that we mentioned earlier, especially when it's CCTV in focus, Biblioteca are playing for the breach to be open because they recognize it's comp, wall's going to get open, and there's really nothing you can do to stop it. So, you know, where is that next step? Where is that sort of realization?
That's what we saw in the first attempt. The second attempt, they bring a bandit, and then it doesn't matter anyway because Unfair goes down.
Right.
So, I feel like
they had it right. They had it right the first time. The bandit is not going to guarantee that you win the round. It's just delaying the inevitable. You've got to be able to play for the breach, and it's not happening. It's being open, and then Biblioteca are just like left scratching their heads.
Well, I mean, it's the counter. Do you bring a mute instead? Because yes, you can still breach, but you're only using 1 jammer instead of the 2 batteries. So it's extra coverage. It's an M590. You're still getting the nitro cell on board. But whatever it is, Biblioteca, they've decided not to go there yet again. We're going to be changing things up as we head into round number 10. Spiker again. I think the man has found his niche here. He's going to be heading through Strip Club again early. caught out Niccolo last time as he rotated in towards bathroom, and he's about to do the same again. No Niccolo this time. Not going to be able to catch him out, and I think this is because, yeah, look, we saw him on the roam. It is basement, so they're all going to be hunkering down. This is more of a turtle setup for the most part. The question is the Cade Core upstairs again? Last time, it was obviously a source of much frustration. Nitro Cell throw on from Nah. Not going to find anything. I believe they have found it with the frag grenade there. No. Maybe.
Nitro found the electric claw.
No, I think it was unfair. That was unfair's Nitro that found it.
His own Nitro to kill his own play call. I mean, at least you're not killing your teammates' util there, but either way, the Cade Claw was left alive for so long in a lot of these rounds. To see it cleared by your own utility is not a great look, and there's no impacts played for Biblioteca, so that means the hatch is going to be open rather quickly in an important round to give Arial Arise a chance for a 6-4 match point. You can't be making a mistake like that.
Well, I mean, already we've seen 2 Nitros, so we've seen 50% of the Nitros used. One of them has had no impact. One has had almost negative impact, as you would put it. Detrimental, to say the very least, to their own team. Or trying to slot the frag grenade. Does almost catch up, nah, but not enough at the moment. Still no damage being traded back either way as we head deeper and deeper that final minute. Domi trying to hold the angle from bottom secret, but no one there, no one willing to wait. Again, it's one of those bizarre rounds that seems to have played out here. Last time we saw it was round number 3 on Gym. This time it's basement for Biblioteca's defense. They have the setup. Biblioteca, they're floundering. It feels a little bit not quite as sure of themselves as they were moments ago. And with Arial Arise primed in possession, unfair to fall. The vertical angles coming in clutch here. This is, I mean, that's just how this is key attacking setup for Arial Arise. They're playing this to a T. And it's working for them. Nitro Cell's there, but it's Nah, in fact, playing from AKs to the spray. Helio drops on the other side of it. Nah falls as well. Tommy pushing in from Secret. Can he just blow this wide open? Org finds Niccolo. Spiker finds Rise. They are searching and hunting this down at the defense. I mean, look, it might as well be a straw shack against the Tsunami because Arial Arise, they have found 3 in a row on their attacking half.
That's a good one. I'm going to use that in the future, but Arial have strung 3 together, and Biblioteca, this is nature calling here. You've got to start playing a little bit better. Niccolo needs to step up. He needs to maybe play more aggro. I honestly, I feel like I'm not really qualified to give the recommendation here, but you need to do something. It's not it's not unfair. Peek in the mirror window right into the waiting arms of Og on the vertical. That just adds insult to injury. And Arial Arise are on match point, series point. I mean, Biblioteca elimination point. That's what this really is. You've got to have a sense of urgency here. 7-3 on Villa. It was just a complete smoke show. And now this is really starting to get desperate. Biblioteca are going to have to force overtime. And I guess the defenses are just not up to snuff. We mentioned earlier that maybe Biblioteca underestimated Arial or didn't put in as much work as you would want to. This has got to be the moment of change.
You got to wonder if it's coming even, honestly. Gym, bedroom coming through. There's just a lot of questions. That's really the best way to describe what is going on. There's a lot of questions. You know, we saw, Villa, they came in with some vim and vigor to the second half of the opener on their attacking side of things, and they bring it back and they get swept aside. Sorry, no, the defensive start to Villa, but I mean, this is Arial Arise. We talked about the changes that have been made. Maybe it was enough, and it seems very much so that it is enough. Domi has been going off. They just feel so comfortable. They feel like they can play their game. They can trust their teammates to do those jobs. And I mean, the amount of room that Domi has been able to find those entries on, even on the roam, just the freedom, the satisfaction he seems to be finding in playing this new role, it's scary almost.
It's really worrying too for Biblioteca. You kind of just have to let the round play out, do what's comfortable for you, and figure out what's got to change. I feel like Niccolo is kind of missed out on his opportunity to switch away from Jaeger and put somebody more comfortable on it, but Rice gets a very important kill to the morale here, shutting down Donnie, who has had a signature performance. But there's the trade immediately. Woods is not having a slow game. He's playing as you would expect him to. He's being consistent, and he's shutting members down. So the trade comes through, and Biblioteca's advantage is quickly snuffed out. Pressure in from Adapt to spot the shield for Bed. 90 seconds to go. And Fair taking a tiny bit of chip damage. Needing to use those smoke canisters before the opportunity is lost, but again, just the pre-fire shots through the wall exchanged by Adapt. Whether he knows it or not, he's put Unfair within a hair of damage. Helio now flashed. The util comes in. Support from Nicolo. Good team play there, waiting at the right moment to allow his teammate to hang on. The health for Woods and Spiker is undesirable, but the man advantage not for either team. Unfair has got a crucial piece of utility here. Spiker and Woods need to go to the back line. They have got to let Og and Adapt step up here.
They've pulled off this angle for the moment. The window is going to be left. Spiky goes to the nade, which is where Og went down last time around. So they aren't quite finding those advantages. 45 seconds left on the clock. Still a 4 versus 4, but the health definitely favoring Biblioteca for the moment. Adapt looking for a bit of a bullet hole, but the positioning here for Arial Arise means they can explode onto the bomb site any moment, anytime they should so choose. And Toxic Canisters for the moment is going to be delaying things from that push in through the master bedroom door, but they have the Logi option as well. In fact, 2 players heading there. Helios, this secret stash hold, if they haven't droned him out, could be crippling. He needs to hit his shot. Swings, he loses the gunfight, but at least Nicolo will take down Spiker, so it's a man trade evenly. Nicolo playing prone, might be able to find something, but it's Woods to fall next. Org finds a kill, Adept finds yet another. It's all on the shoulders of Nah in a 1v2 situation. Finds the head, takes it off cleanly, finds the second. Nah is filthy with the SMG-11 and will keep Biblioteca alive again for the moment. It's not over just yet. They have one more chance here. They might be able to bring it to OT and push for Chalet, but they need to win this one too.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of needing going on here for Biblioteca, and Nah kind of heard the call. He had nothing to lose there, and he played lights out. Headshots lined up, and the SMG-11 ripped through Arial Arise, who looked like they had everything going for them in the 3-on-1 push. But now we step just one round further. Number 12 here on Clubhouse. Arial Arise's last option to take a shot at Biblioteca for a regulation win on Biblioteca's map choice. Otherwise, this is going to head into infinite overtime, where we'll have to see what the play looks like from each of these two teams, again, across both sides of the bomb, the basement hole. Well, no Cade this time, which is such a curious change, because the Electro Claws, I feel like, have been very influential on the basement defense, is wasting a lot of time. Biblioteca kind of need a reprieve there. They have got to be a little bit more flexible and constrict Arial Arise to work on a restricted time frame. We haven't seen a whole lot of dirt pushes, so as a result, not a whole lot of dirt holds. Biblioteca have been playing on the site, and that's been that. The Mira, though, is the one operator which I will say I don't know if I totally agree with yet, because it just hasn't been as influential as you need it to be. Arial Arise aren't being forced into taking these sort of one-dimensional, one-route pushes. They're, attacking this from multiple different angles. They're getting open the stock hatch, which puts a lot of pressure on Blue Gen. Then they're moving to engage the vertical play, and then kind of, if it can be done, open up the bar hatch to pressure Moto to allow just sort of, you can kind of have blissful ignorance to make sure that nobody's really going to push into Moto when you've got the hatch open. That's just a fool's game.
I mean, yeah, like, neither team can accredit any significant success to having that mirror. Oh my lord, Dommy. Last time around, we saw that trade go. It was Dommy who found the kill on a Nicolo, and Nicolo says, not this time, buddy. They know that they are so incredibly close to bringing this back to OT and giving themselves another chance at Chalet. So it's a big frag to be finding. This huge amount of utility burn off the board. Those concussions and impacts so pivotal, especially on a basement attack like this. They can still get things open. They still have both hard breaches alive, but Dommy has been such a key fragger that losing not only the utility, but the guns. Oh, this defeat spotted in cash. Nicolo knows the drone's there, so will pull off. That is a very lucky read for him.
Arial Arise had an opening there to go for the grenade play to avenge Dami. You've got pressure coming in. Slowly, Arial's attack hones in on Nicolo's position, but the time waste here for a one-man roam is quite substantial. Drones move through, thorough as it is. Oh, but a huge opening for Nicolo. He swings, he gets the second. The big fragger on the previous map steps up. Dami, Og, Adapt, Woods, all falling down. Spiker left in it. It looks like we're going to overtime, ladies and gentlemen, unless Spiker can pull out a clutch, the caliber of which we've only seen accomplished by Og. Case needs to get picked back up if Spiker wants any option here. The drone reserves. No more. Spiker's just going to have to play this. He's going to have to go for the frags, and that's what makes this one so difficult. If you were to be able to achieve this, I mean, there's 50 seconds. Surely not. Surely Spiker, he's going to look for a kill or two, try to pad the stats, maybe toss a waylane frag into kitchen. But the future of this, it looks like overtime, and I have to note the significance. Both of these two rounds, it's been an opening onto Dami. The last round was just clutch mania for Biblioteca. This one is decisive as it gets.
I think Spike is, you know what, I'll practice my vertical angles, and he's pushing down bottom main. He's going to trade with Nah, but unfortunately, you know, Biblioteca still have plenty of players on the board, and understandably, Arial Arise are going to call the pause here. And you can understand why this is coming here. Overtime has been secured here for Biblioteca. 3 more rounds minimum. Well, 2 more rounds minimum, actually. But, I mean, we've seen some big infinite overtimes come through. We've seen some very, very deep maps on Clubhouse. It's still, honestly, quite hard to call who might take this one. 2-3-3 halves going both ways. No team has found overtly any more significant success on either half. But, I mean, this setup is going to be key. Like, what bomb sites do we go to? We've seen Biblio, they've only been able to win on basement and gym. Whereas you look at the other side of the card, Arial Arise, they won on CCTV, they won on gym. Actually, no, they've just won on CCTV and gym. Never mind. So, both teams have had glaring weaknesses exposed.
It's like that basement side is kind of just like, are you going to be able to eke it out, or is it going to go the other way? As far as gaming this one out, Arial Arise, I feel like have that ability to take a step back and kind of let Dami speak, figure out what needs to happen. Biblioteca, we've been kind of hyping up these individual players the whole game. You know, it's got to be Nah. Nah's got to show up here. Nicolo needs to cut somebody down here. Look at what we just had. Arial Arise, we're watching the top of the staircase. I think the timing in that round is probably what sold them the most. The fact that their players on red stairs moved ahead of the speed of the drone and lined up for 2, not to mention Nicolo serving the opener onto Dami, who also I think can be kind of labeled under that category of played in a way that would have been better served by the use of a drone. You need to make sure those rat plays, somebody just kind of hiding around the map, it needs to be drone. There has got to be that consistency for Arial. They cannot fall back onto the plays that categorize them as kind of just walk in, look for a battle, and don't use your drones. The intel must be here moving into OT.
Well, we do see one fairly significant change compared to our last one. No Legion, a Vigil instead. Which, I mean, if you're bringing impacts to the board, you wonder if maybe this is like an anchor Vigil, which, I mean, every now and then you'll see teams run it just because of the misinformation that he can offer on the bomb site. That paired with a mute, I mean, just the uncertainty is going to be huge. But, I mean, the off-site success was largely attributed to Nicolo. He found those massive frags playing on the roam, took out Domi from Lounge. He found those 2 frags on the red stairs as well, onto both Org and Adapt. And then Woods fell eventually, but I mean, you'd be hard-pressed to see that same exact situation play out unless Arial Arise are just tilted, because they were throwing away bodies.
You gotta kind of look past the tilt and just focus. It's a new round. It may be on the same site, but it's a new round. Here we go. Nicolo inches his way in. And a little bit of a sound cue there as he bounced off the top of what I imagine was one of the racks for the bike. An aggressive play by the Vigil. He's not using those impacts on site, that's for sure. As he moves out of the CC breach, and tries to challenge Adapt. It does a little bit of damage, sent a slight smidgen return. I have to imagine that was probably from the impact, just kind of taking the damage to try and have the opportunity for the kill. Arial Arise are kind of tangled up here on the top floor presence. They do not want to move faster than the speed of their intel, because we all saw how that worked out last round. But Biblioteca have given it up already. They're moving back to the side. I think maybe Niccolo was thinking about retaking to push up from blue, but should be playing this one kind of close to the vest. The progress here, Arial Arise, is comparatively slow, but managing to survive with Dami, with their whole team still in the fight, minus Spiker, who hung on for the majority of that previous round, is a win in some regards.
Well, they still have positioning. They can go for that start up of the vertical, and that's exactly what Spike is going to do for the moment. Start opening those vertical angles. Just the one for the moment above main door. Covers the angles, just tries to anticipate someone pushing up aggressively to counteract it. Ooh,
What?
Shots going in. I couldn't say who was there.
No!
Unfair. He's going to find the
What?
first. He's in freezer, can't find the second. But that's one set of hard breach tools off the board. That's a very bold position to be playing in and holding into.
Attackers have recovered their diffuser.
But I mean, it's a vigil. That's largely his job done. Do some damage. Niccolo from the backside! Finds both of them again! How is
There's
he pulling
no
this off?
way.
No! Niccolo for a third. And it looks like Biblioteca going into OT will take the first. My lord, how have they pulled this off?
First, it's the Vigil, waiting inside freezer. Woods peeks him, and he goes down. Instead of waiting for a frag to confirm the kill. And then Niccolo just walks up main. Nobody on the chain repel. Zero coverage, zero security.
Seconds left.
Back-to-back triple kills for Niccolo. Maybe even a quad if he can get this final kill, but it's picked up by Rice nonetheless. Biblioteca, much different on their defense. There's the aggression that we talked about. It's well-timed, and it's well-needed here on Club as they move up for the first time to match point, and they have an attack against them, or rather attack ahead of them, to close this one out. Biblioteca, they were not shy about a lot of their attacks. They were capable. They might be able to make this happen here. This looks like we could be headed to Chalet, and man, am I excited.
My lord, eat up Niccolo. Holy cow. I mean, yes, he was using Unfair as bait a little bit. Just, you got to admit that. He was using his teammate as bait, and then finds two in freezer, and then catches out the player pushing in, pinching in from bar. That is glaring mistakes now being exposed for Arial Arise's attack. They did not know how to deal with that. They did not have the coverage. I don't know, Woods decided he could take it, but historically he's not been the strongest fragger on the team. They had the tools. They had everything they needed to deal with this wanton Vigil playing in freezer, and they just throw it away. And now they have one more chance to deny a decider map here against Biblioteca. You've got to wonder off the back of that, can they bring it back together? Can they pull themselves up from the bootstraps and keep themselves in this? Because if not, they risk being the ones to be knocked out when they were moments away from knocking out this Biblioteca team.
And it makes me harken back to round number 11, that gym clutch, the big one, coming out of Nah. In that round, it was 6-3, or it was 6-4, excuse me, and I was kind of in my mind preparing the monologue of, oh, what a poetic end. Arial Arise reversed the scoreline we saw in the quarterfinals. But Biblioteca say, hell no, we're fighting our way back into this. Niccolo and Nah, as well as Unfair, all three of those players electrifying here in the late stages of Clubhouse, stepping up for their team with a whole new energy. Og is going to play for the bait down in the basement, perhaps expecting Nah to do the play that he has approached in a lot of the CCTV attacks, but the Sledge player has not done that this round. He's not even coming in from the dirt tunnel. Instead, he'll use his frag grenades in service to get the wall open, perhaps tossing a nade through the drone hole. Still one left in reserve. Arial Arise, this is it. They've got to win this round, otherwise we're heading to untested waters. It would be Chalet next up if this is a Biblioteca win.
I mean, it's not that untested, though. They almost beat out Mystic on overtime, did Biblioteca on Chalet. So we've seen a little bit more of them as of recent, and their performance they weren't slouches. They really did give us a decent showing. Domi now downstairs where Og was moments ago. So these are key players that are no longer near the bomb site. They're going to have to find some way to get back in and affect some real change on that pinch. But, I mean, you look at Nicolo, primed and ready in con. Looking to come in, push in through cash. What can he find? That's the question. Knows there's at least one top red. Rice, they're playing around stock. This is such good positioning by Biblioteca to go for that explosive execute onto the site. Luckily, Domi for Arial Rise has gotten back towards red stairs and can pinch back up should he need to provide support. And there's Org. You can see him through your screen. I believe that's over by Strip Club. He could flank in from main stairs and cut down this push, but yeah, he's just in the western hallway. But if he's found out, if he's dealt with, that's time and positioning wasted. And he could have been so impactful in pinching in late round.
Og is still in the middle of his flank. He'll shoot out a drone, but Rice is picked away by Spiker. Excellent play there from the Cade on rafters. Nicola will challenge as it seems the jig is up for Og. His roam has been detected. Unfair lies in wait, holding off inside of stage. Perhaps thinking about the eventuality that he could go for the peak, but the ace will redecide as Spiker makes an untimely rotate and an untimely appearance as the Og, as Unfair cuts him down. But Og is still at the forefront of our minds as he challenges in. There's 15 seconds. Biblioteca have a man disadvantage. One thing they don't have is the case. It's out of control. Nicolo's gonna have to charge in. Goes for the spray through the wall. We know there's one player on the opposite end, but no one to appear and dipping and dodging. This round will end on time. Arial Arise to pick one up here in OT as we're guaranteed at least 2 more rounds.
They've obviously taken some words of advice from the man himself. Duck, dip, dive, and dodge. If you can dodge a wrench, well, you can probably dodge a gunshot as well. That's exactly what happens. That was just unfortunate. Dap ruthless clicking heads throughout the round. And we head back to another Biblioteca defense on Gym Bedroom this time. Now, they did play it once. They did win it as well. But, I mean, there are no guarantees at this stage in overtime.
There really aren't, especially with the Biblioteca who are searching for every option. I mean, we could be attacking Gym Bedroom and there's a fight inside Garage, or, you know, there's a battle going down inside Strip Club. Biblioteca have thrown the playbook out the window and have approached this in a much more, I would say, off-the-cuff way, but I don't think that really describes exactly what has gone down here. Jim was fairly close round, one that Biblioteca did not have a lot of business winning last time we went here. Arial Arise approached it in a fairly succinct way, eventually gaining control of Master Bedroom, but the time was so critically low, and the DBNO in that 3-on-1 did not help them much, forcing the gun battle, just the very same as the gun battle was forced just in the previous round.
Well, round number 15 coming in here, which normally, you know, would signal the end, the ultimate round in Rainbow Six. But here at SCS, obviously, infinite overtime means that there is more coming our way. Arial Arise now back on the attack, looking to get themselves in, do some real damage. Unfair tagged early, caught on one of those window angles, just pre-fired out, not totally out of it. Oh, look at that punch hole. Oh, he's looking into Garage. That's what the game is. Looking to try and catch someone else pushing into rafters, but no, it looks like Arial Arise, they're going to circumvent things entirely. Go through the Logi hatch, go for the jacuzzi wall. That is a filthy angle, and Org, ooh, Unfair still might find something off it, but he's going to be deterred at the very least.
Drones go in. I think Og is droning in from blue, and a drone inside Wolf will be spotted and shot. Unfair's position is detected. Ooh, chance there. If the player in kitchen had moved just a hair faster, that could have been the cutoff that Arial Arise would need. Helio spotted up above. At vertical game, it's always a threat. The frag is cooked, ready to be tossed. Helio will adjust his position. Good game sense there to avoid the danger that explosive would have posed to his team's chances in the round. Losing the Mira is manageable, but losing that mirror windowed position, especially, what is Nicolo just jumps out? Nicolo's confident as ever. He eliminates Og. Yash out of the question. That's a big play by Biblioteca, but the trade is in. Unfair, perhaps. Thinking about the roam, it looked like he died at the bottom of the stairs. Impact, is it successful? Seems like it's not. That's going to be real trouble real soon. Rice is on such incredibly low HP. He goes for the prone peak, but Spiker reads well into it. 70 seconds. This round, approaching the danger zone. Biblioteca, they're needing a hero play right now.
Nicolo could be the one to do it. 15, 4, and 9 for him, but nah, again, a situation where he is no slouch, even in the slightest. 12, 3, and 10. They have the opportunity. Helio still holding Logi, still keeping things locked down for the moment. I swear, if Nicolo had the option, it would be a flying leap. Spiker finds the frag, but Nicolo's there for the trade. No more presence in Logi. Whoa, just below that wall. Spots it, gets an inkling, and he wins the gunfight. Another big multi-frag in the round for Nicolo. Brings it back even at 2-2. The two big fraggers for the team still alive here. No, and Nicolo could be the ones to hold on. But Stick, there's 20 seconds left.
The time is so critically low here. Arial or Rise have been stuck, lambasted inside construction. The H to charge forward. Crossfire set up and equipped, but the Zofia will find such an important kill. Nah, the clutch player goes down. The threat of the plant is real. The shot's missing for Nicolo as he challenges in. Dommy's there at the ready. Arial Rise, there we go. The lead is theirs once again. 8-7, and Woods is fired up. Og dropping the chatter. The banter is real. Arial Rise, they're ready for this.
They thought they were done, though. That was Arial Arise believing that the match was over, but that's not how things work here. And we head back down to basement. Arial Arise back on the defense, and maybe, just maybe, that confidence was a little bit preempted. And Spiker's like, hey guys, you go, sorry? Yeah, look, adapt. They may have jumped the gun a little bit there. Well, Stick, we're going to it. Arial Arise will take the lead once again, but I think maybe that, I mean, you come into that, you win round number 15, you're like, yes, we've done it, and then the ultimate realization that actually, no, it is not finished just yet. The confidence coming out, and then the realization that you've just made a fool of yourself on live broadcast. If they lose Clubhouse here, I think we could see Chalet swept out.
Yeah, the way that I phrase Chalet is it's uncertain for Arial Arise and looks good for Biblioteca. I mean, a 6-8 against Team Mystic, that is something to shake a stick at. And I mean, it's not a 6-8 because Team Mystic are good, but, you know, aren't the most practiced. Team Mystic are a decent Chalet team. Their fundamentals are incredible. Team Mystic has gunners, and their ability to come back on the map is, I would say, unrivaled. So that is a big thing, a big point on Biblioteca's resume if we do see Chalet, because that's not guaranteed. Currently, it's looking like Arial Arise are ready to close this one down. It's a basement setup down below for the aerial defense.
Well, I mean, Ariel's defense on CCTV was pretty solid. Obviously, they did win it, which is why we find ourselves in this position for the moment. Question is, can they repeat? Can they find another victory here in basement? Which, I mean, it has been a tumultuous bomb site, to say the very least, and their defense on it has not been the strongest. Look, coming into this, it is round number 16. They have the momentum. They have the possibilities. They could look to take this one the full distance, but at the moment, it is Biblioteca on the attack. Nicolo as well, building up a huge head of steam. Might be able to ride that momentum and string together some big frags to blow this round open. 3 away from his 20 bomb at this rate. He's got a lot of fragging power behind him, and he's going to be hitting straight for bottom main. Looking to get himself in position early, looking to get control of these angles. With Mira on the board, yeah, the setup is there, and you've got Spiker on the carrot, the coverage, but once again, he's been punished from that angle time and time again. He's looked to cover and not been able to find a damn thing from it. Nah, he's up above in Master. Looking to establish those vertical angles, but it's a 2-story vertical angle that he's establishing here. Well, at the moment, first minute almost done. Is now will be in position to start opening up those vertical angles directly above the bomb site for the moment. All playing. Okay, that's a tight angle to be finding anything if he can. Extra core still on Church. Well, this utility available for Aerial Arise is terrifying, and that's interesting. We see the blue hatch left soft. Has been something that teams are doing more and more often, realizing that it's one of those ones that will be opened regardless of the situation. More and more of this first floor hallway outside kitchen going to be opened up. They still have yet to get that armory hatch, though. Niccolo on the job. Breaching round will be placed. 2x Kairos, as well as there is next to no resistance on it. There we go. Things are opening up. Things are going well for Biblioteca as we head to the second half of the round. Mirror window still in place. These drones are so good. They have so much coverage spotted from below. Nicolo's going to win the gunfight onto Adapt regardless. Doesn't care that Adapt has the advantage in that fight. Oh, look at that drone from Rise. They know. They have so much information. And, well, just as things look to carry on, Stick, it's anyone's game heading into the final minute.
Biblioteca have the 5-on-4, and they've also got Rice, who's creeping ever so quietly down the blue hall, hoping that he can hear the audio cue. Dommy's there at the ready, but oh my!
Rice is going to find one. Dommy, that's a big frag to be finding. Aerial Arise's defense not quite as sound as they thought moments ago. Stick, Biblioteca, they're going to push it even further, it seems.
Oh, they're not waiting for anything to go down. The pressure is here and the presence is real. Woods is DBNO'd, leaving it all up to Og. Helio, the plant threat. The Jaeger forced to battle against way too many angles. He'll back up now inside Moto to transition for the hallway. The window popped as well. They're leaving nothing in this round. Biblioteca back at equal. 2 more rounds of overtime. Guaranteed. Aerial Arise, their cockiness, the confidence was a little bit too preemptive, as this game is not even close to ending.
Yeah, look, that is a big yikes moment. And Woods, he's going to be biting his tongue right now, especially given what he said at the end of the previous round. I think there's potential for some... look, there's potential for some real issues coming into this. If Biblioteca take this round, given that, you know, CCTV, it's not been the strongest for them. So no guarantees that it is one that they will take. It's the better of two options, honestly. They're going to bring the K, they're going to bring the Aruni again. Where my Jaeger plus that smoke, if they could win this, if they can take the advantage, if they can then push on and win a second in a row in OT, they can look to take the whole map and push it to CHALET, at which point Aerial Arise will assuredly be kicking themselves, because, I mean, that was some big talk coming in to the end of round number 15, and to then lose, my lord Stick, this could be a brutal clapback.
Yeah, I mean, that's like the Levron effect on a whole nother level. To talk all of that chatter, I mean, I can't even quote what he would say. I don't want to anger Fermi. It was that vulgar. And he's just...
I mean, look, we can give the abridged version. He said y'all suck. Woods outright said y'all suck. And then they lost the next round.
I mean, yeah, Biblioteca didn't really look like they suck attacking that church site. They looked like they had everything down pat. Dommy, or rather, it wasn't Dommy, it was Rice there. Rice made a play. He pushed in blue. He challenged Dommy, and he won. He cut out the mirror. He eliminated the blue presence, and then that was just, I mean, it was open season there, but it's still that one sort of the brief pausing moment where neither team has an immediate option to close it out, but they slowly have got to build towards that. Spiker loves these sneak plays, I've noticed. He's continued to find a way in, find an entrance, and then sort of just test it ever so gingerly.
He's like Elmer Fudd. He's out hunting rabbits. Whether or not he's going to be effective is another question, because, well, for the moment, we do see Nav pulling off the angle, rotating back through Con. Nicolo down in this lounge position. It's been 1-on-1 so far. That's it. Okay. All right. ADS in pocket, placed in garage. But Spiker has control of Loyalty, so has at least that coverage, has a guaranteed avenue into the second floor for his team, should they choose to go that way. And he has teammates there as well. Nicolo, this is a position that he'll want to be keeping hold of for the moment, even though it seems most of the players for Aerial Arise are poised around Con. Looking again that way, they have the breach open as well, so not the most secured position for them for the moment. They can look to play around things though. Helio just dancing in around cash. No one in CCTV for the moment. Look at that. The 3-man stack. Oh, Helio is lucky to survive there. will even get a magnet out while he carries on, heads downstairs to team up with Niccolo, the man himself. Woods going for the spray, can't find it. And I mean, this is looking bleak. After the aggression in chat we saw at the end of round number 15, I think there's some genuine concern here for Arial Arise. Dommy on the rappel finds, nah, you can't be looking for those angles. We have seen him punish that time and time again.
Arial Arise answering every question as they move forward. The aggressive plays don't stop. Here's one that'll find some success. Niccolo popping off against Rice. Oh, that might have just done it. Rice will go down, but it's still a 2-on-2. It's an even and fair fight. The smoke now relegated to the position of a human drone, but Woods, he'll go big. He's got control of cash. And Niccolo will need the 20 bomb at least to get this round. He recognizes crossing into CCTV is not an option. He's gonna have to challenge in. Here he comes, filing up from blue. Dommy looking the wrong way. Niccolo, 20 kills, looking for his 21st all game with the case on the floor, and Woods playing it passive as ever. Begins the swing, he'll catch a brief glimpse, but Niccolo, triple kill! Would you believe it? In round 17, the clutch of his lifetime, Biblioteca win it out, and I just don't know what to say.
Hey, Woods, where's it at now, buddy? That's all that you have to say. And they did. They said, Niccolo, you should quit. And then he comes back 2 rounds in a row and literally mops the floor with Arial Arise. I mean, look, after that, Arial Arise, you've got to wonder if they've got any teeth left, because he has been kicking away with steel-capped boots. And as we head into what could be the final round of this second map of a best of 3, it's Gym Bedroom on the defense for Arial Arise. And, well, last time they were there in the defense, they lost it. Biblioteca were the ones to pull it out.
Would you believe it? More than 2.5 hours in, and we are still on the second map of the first series. We haven't even got to Chalet. We're still in the midst of a deep overtime. 8-9. Arial Arise, for all their attack, are in the disadvantage. Biblioteca with the lead favoring them, and looking like they are hungry. Sharks in the water for this gym setup. Biblioteca on the prowl. Will they be able to move one step forward?
No, that is the big question. We are going to see that extension over to Cash once again. I mean, it's Gym Bedroom. This is exactly what you're expecting in this setup, but it's not even been those direct contests that we've seen playing out in favor of Biblioteca. It's about the vertical. I mean, how many times have we seen Nah find those frag grenades onto key players in that Logi hold? How many times have we seen Niccolo push in, open up the vert, and threaten that way? The man's 21, 6, and 11. Has been a part of 27 of his team's kills. He's only died in 11 of the, 17 rounds we've seen played. This is big numbers, and, I mean, Dommy has left. They've lost a player off the bat, not to mention it is Dommy, of all players. That is crippling.
Dommy has... You just can't afford to lose Dommy in such a crucial moment. Adapt is going to ask for it. Unfair's got his answer. I'm sure we'll have the word. They're going to go discuss to figure it out. One thing I wanted to point out, we had a frag grenade, the one that sailed deep into CCTV. I think it was it Rice Panda that it almost killed, playing just kind of quietly on the other side in the previous round. I want to give a lot of credit to Uzu. He can't hear us now, but Uzu tracked that one expertly and read into it. He has made a lot of progress as an observer and to read that one through, but we'll put our focus back towards the round. No text in chat. It seems like the decision has been made, but Spiker, oh, he's gone down now too, and Og is lost. It's up to Adapt and Woods playing on site, the Nitro duo, to try and hold back the wave of Biblioteca. This is match point. We would be going to Chalet unless these two, the Mute and the Mira, can pull off a miracle.
Well, the two M's, it makes sense that a miracle would be the name of the game if they were to pull it out. Or spots one unfair, just sticking his head through the window, gets caught out by that Vector.
By attackers.
It's only the one, though. With a minute 10 left to play, there's still 4 more that these two need to find. Nah, position around Logi might be able to make some big damage happen. Does have the frag grenades if he can line it up. X-Kairos under the mirror window is going to push Adapt out of that position. Nah, might be able to find this angle, but not quite deep enough if he drops. Adapt's attention was distracted there for the moment, but Niccolo pushes in, finds both of them. My lord! I mean, call it what you will. Levron, the Shaq effect, who knows what it is, but that is embarrassing.
Niccolo just moves up the staircase like a specter for Biblioteca. Closing this one down deep into overtime. Round number 18. That's probably the highest score I think I've ever seen. 9,000 points, 24 frags, outshining anything that we had earlier. Biblioteca, a hard-fought win, a deep and desperate challenge, but they take it 10-8, and you know what that means. Ladies and gentlemen, we are guaranteed to go the distance, the full 3 maps here in SCS. We've got Chalet coming up next, and I just cannot be more excited for this match. If you thought Biblioteca versus Mystic was gonna be a barn burner, this one is beating out all the expectations.
Look, I'm half tempted to do like a mid-series interview. I kind of want to get Woods in here and take his opinion of what's going on right now, because that was some big calls. Arial Arise made some big calls. Outright told them they suck. They told Niccolo to retire, and he almost single-handedly brings it back and wins it. Look, I don't know if Domi was leaving, I don't know if it was technical issues that caused him to leave the server, or if he was just trying to save face, because, I mean, that embarrassing doesn't even begin to describe it. We are going to be going to a third map, though, Stick. We have a decider on our hands. It is not done just yet. So, look, I mean, we've seen both sides of the coin. A 7-3 domination on Villa. An 8-10 slugfest on Clubhouse, which Biblioteca were able to bring back. You've got to wonder if Arial Arise have the mental fortitude and stamina to carry on in the series.
Yeah, I mean, you would hope. Both of these teams are comprised of really a lot of experience collectively. A lot of these players have been competing since, I mean, even before the days of SCS. We're talking back in CCS, going back further, season 3 and prior. This is really 2 veteran teams who are fighting for the chance to stay alive here in the SCS lower bracket. They want to have that chance to move forward. Arial Arise started off well. Their map pick went decidedly to their favor, and Biblioteca won theirs. It was much closer. Much, much closer. Dangerous territory, but Niccolo, I mean, he just does Niccolo things. He showed up. He was a monster on the first map. 14 kills across, 10 rounds? And now here, 24 kills, a deep threat, always being a problem, always on the prowl, and I mean, if you're looking at some of the most important rounds of the game, won single-handedly because Niccolo will make a play. I'm thinking specifically, when he's on the top of the red stairs, just gunning down every attacker that tries to chase after him, when he flanks up from main and he intercepts the attackers inside a kitchen. We've seen the full beret here, and gosh, this one has really left us with a lot of unanswered questions, and I'm just hoping that Chalet can serve to kind of clear things up. And it's hard to beat Chalet. It's hard to beat Clubhouse as kind of the closing word in this argument, because for this to go so close for Domi, I mean, that's just, you hate to see it, to disconnect in such a tense, such an important round on match point and not have the chance to fight for his team.
Yeah, look, I mean, and I'm so glad that it's going to Chalet. This is a map that, I mean, yes, it's new, but we have seen it played. We have seen enough of Chalet that we understand what is currently considered meta, the setups, the positionings, the operator picks to an extent as well. So, I mean, if Clubhouse is the old standard, it's the go-to, it's a very neutral territory because everyone knows how it's played. It's been done to death. Chalet is this new testing ground, and, I mean, it only makes sense that we're going to be going there to finish things off.
Yeah, and after such an immensely long game, we're going to be heading to a bit of an intermission as we catch our breaths and as we prepare for the final map here in this full 3-series barn burner. And the intermission is ahead of us. Stick around. You want to see where this one is going.
Coming into the final decider here between Arial Arise and Biblioteca, it becomes quite evident that Arial Arise woke up and chose violence, and it seems that Niccolo, the man himself, he took that personally, as he has just said on Twitter. They made some big calls very preemptively, and he almost single-handedly carried it over the finishing line. I am Blue Panda. Joining me is Stick. We go to a map 3, we go to Chalet, and you've got to wonder if just maybe Arial Arise have self-sabotaged on that early call.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you've given a lot of fire to Biblioteca now, and they are hungry. It's Chalet that we go to next, the map that we all know well from the... I mean, what some have said is one of the best series for a long time in competitive play, that showstopper, Biblioteca taking on Team Mystic. Chalet is going to be a lot of things. I think it's going to be close. I think it probably ends overtime at the bare minimum, but we'll have to let the gameplay really do the talking as we jump into the newest map in the comp pool. I'm really curious to see what Arial Arise's play looks like on this map. I hope that they're prepared for it. The veto, I think, does cause a little bit of trouble there. We saw they banned out Oregon and Cafe, which leaves us here on Chalet. This is the final map, the end of the road here in the first series, and would you believe it, that's not even all tonight for SCS. We've got another game later, Smoke Break against Aggro. The night just keeps on giving.
Oh, giving it does. My lord, there were some big words thrown around coming into the end of round 15. Arial Arise, they take the first ban. It is going to be Nomad off the board again. Makes a lot of sense. There is a lot of roam capability here on Chalet, and you want to be able to play into that as a defending side, and especially given that they are starting up there, it makes a lot of sense. Biblioteca, though, they now have the answer. Do we see Thatcher, Maverick? It is going to be Thatcher. No surprises. The single most banned operator almost in competitive Rainbow Six Siege history. And then it comes down to the defensive bans. Do we see the unexpected coming through? Last map, we saw Cade let through. We saw Wemai let through. Here on Chalet, what is it that gets the ignorance in? Oh, it's Goyo. So we are seeing some interesting defensive bans come through.
I quickly wanted to go check back on this because I feel like I remember the Goyo ban from the Mystic series. I feel like that was what Biblioteca banned, but I want to double check so that I have the most factual of evidence here. The Malusi does round us out, and looking back at Mystic game, I mean, there's a lot to think about there. Yeah, it was Biblioteca. They banned a Thatcher and a Goyo in that series. Mystic removed the Maverick, and I want to say that it was the Valk that they had taken away from that. So we have the Nomad ban stepping in here. Curious, the club had like, how many rounds was Nomad played in on club? I feel like none. I feel like she was just a ghost on that map.
I believe she was banned out there as well. I think we've seen Nomad. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'd be like 90% sure. No, sorry, it was Maverick Thatcher. Yeah, no, it wasn't picked at all. In fact, interesting.
That was weird.
Interesting. I mean, yeah, see some priority, but there's so much more that you want to bring into the fold. And well, Helio, he's going to bring something else in the fold. IQ, 6 picked out from the 0 as we head to Kitchen Dining, a bomb site, which, I mean, I think I've seen it the least in competitive matchups here on Chalet.
Yeah, I've caught a little bit of a glimpse at what dining in cafe looks like, or dining in cafe, dining in kitchen. I was in the EU well. I took a bit of a study into the Na'Vi versus Train Hard match, and this site came up a little bit. But as far as T3 here in North America goes, this is my first time casting the dining room kitchen look at things here for the defense entirely. Especially given the way that the Mystic Biblioteca game went, it was a long one, and we still didn't see this site. We saw a lot of play on this objective, because sometimes it is kind of valuable if you're going to play a gym, I'm still stuck at a clubhouse. If you're going to play an office in a master hold, you want to have the vertical below so that you don't have, someone like a Buck or, Sledge with frag grenades kind of just constantly tossing nades and tearing up the floor.
I mean, it's almost similar to a kitchen hold on Oregon. You need to be holding things vertically. You want to,
right.
You don't want to have to deal with that threat from above, because it just makes it so much harder to hold your defensive positions. You then have to worry about all sorts of angles being contested that weren't there moments ago. So, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. It seems that library is the call, as it has been for a lot of teams to get into the building, even on basement defenses, even on. I mean, it's just so easy to get in. There's multiple angles that you need to cover as a defender, so it just makes it that much harder to hold. They're going to push in, cover across, go all the way through long, to push into piano as well. But You see this upstairs presence, 3 of 5 operators upstairs. You got the Valkyrie, the Castle, and the, I believe it is the Mute. Oh, those skins are a bit interesting at the moment. There might even be Spiker on, no, okay, there we go. Mute's down in the basement. That must be, yeah, Spiker. It's the G2 Jaeger skin. It threw me off.
Getting distracted by some of those beautiful cosmetics in the share program.
Look, you got to admit, it is one of the nicest skins so far in the last 12 months.
Some soft breach going on. Opening up below. It looks like the mute jammer is cleared. Ooh, Nicolo, the star player from last game, with a close contest. Adapt looking to put that MPX to work as he stares below. Now relinquishing the position nearby at the half wall as he shifts backwards. Playing a little bit more conservative here. You've got Unfair testing the water, seeing what the defenses hold here. Looks like inside office. It's a bulletproof camera detected. The time is running fairly low. This looks like Arial Arise with a capable understanding of how to hold back on this one. Biblioteca, I think, needing a little bit more presence inside Piano. They're going to have to push this eventually, force the issue, contest the Valk, but look at that. You've got Castle Barricades to stall the progress even more so. A rotate for Unfair, I imagine, coming over to the bathroom window. He wants to put some pressure on the Valk. As Helio moves in, he'll catch Woods, leaving Adapt as that final question here. I imagine Adapt is the Valk, seeing that there's 50 seconds, recognizes the benefit of falling back, but that's not what's gone on here. Ariel still have 2 men up here on the second floor, not looking to give this up until the bitter end. Adapt will crawl forward. He hits a stinker onto Unfair, and Spiker is not letting this site go deep into the night. You've got Rice in the middle of the objective, somehow sussed out by Og. 3-on-2. Biblioteca have the health, they have the guns, but the time certainly could be better.
Well, Nas still on the vertical. Helio as well, primed position to get himself into dining for the moment, just playing in the hallway outside. What's there? What information can he glean? Nas going to find Org. Spike it does trade back, but Helio's in the bomb site. Does have that G8, lines them up. It would be a big one. He's finding the first, and it's just going to be Adapt tucked in Trophy. Can he find it? Swinging in! Oh, what? My Lord, Woods. Woods, buddy. This is the Lebron effect. And, oh, my Lord, Arial Arise is going to be fuming.
Such a well-played defense by Arial. The slowdown, the frags, the shot hit by the Valk out of the bathroom window, just to have it all crumbled down because the G8 roars through the kitchen space and cuts down all of the members. That is some intuition in the dying seconds for Helio. Recognizing that a plant was not going to work, maybe hearing the final defender shuffling around in the corner and just having that single audio call, audio cue to go off of. He made the right decision. Biblioteca, that is one of the closest rounds I think that I've ever seen.
Look, we have to address the elephant in the room. There was some heavy shade that got thrown in last map. They come in. Woods, who was throwing the most shade, gets fragged out first. And then Helio comes in, wins the round. Is this the Lebron effect coming in? Because this is a situation where you have put all your cards on the table. You thought you were done. You thought you had won the whole series and knocked Biblioteca out of the tournament. You were wrong because you failed to understand the rules. And then your opponents brought it back. You're going to a decider map. They have taken the first round of the third map. Yes, it was a bit of a clutch situation there for Helio. But, I mean, it's all these things. I wouldn't call Rainbow Six players superstitious as such, but it's one of those things that plays in your mind. You start strong, you talk a bit too much smack, and then things come back to hit you. I mean, anything's possible here in Rainbow Six, but this is concerning.
Certainly is. Again, the presence by Library, the pressure to come through. Bit of more of an active contestation this time. Ariel's got members holding off Og and Dami, and the dual presence is Spiker. Shuts down the star player, Nicolo. 0-2 so far. That's just improper drone work. Not to know the player was below. Great Nitro! Unfair. Sent off the balcony.
Nice backflip,
Spiker. Yeah, I mean, he was doing some acrobatics out there, and sheesh. Biblioteca can't even work their way in, not even boots on the ground inside Library. An excellent pressure. Finally, Nah steps in, but he's got a lot of players to worry about. Good prioritization on the gunfight, and There's Helio. Dami still on the flank, dropping the hatch. Oh, it's so closely there. Helio has got to worry that the Jaeger is out of position. The side is weak. This has not even progressed to the actual objective itself. All of the men cut back here. Rice and Helio maybe chasing ghosts on the first floor?
I mean, we've seen 2 rounds now where, you know, early advantage is established by Arial Arise. It then doesn't count for a damn thing because Biblioteca are able to bring it back. They find the first 2. In fact, Spiker finds 2 completely unanswered. And then Biblioteca storm into the building. They find 2 big frags, and they take things that way. We're back at a 2 versus 2 with over a minute left to play. Yes, Woods does have utility. 3 toxic canisters in play, but the other side of that coin is Adapt. Running the castle, running the UMP-45. Not the greatest gun in these matchups. Not at all the strongest in some of these potential gunfights coming through. And then you got on the other side of the coin, M762 and the G8. 2 of the best guns on the attack, not to mention the lifeline that you still have available. You have an impact and a concussion, so you can deal with some of that utility still remaining. Woods is going to have to be crisp and clean with that SMG-11, and, well, Adapt, he's going to have to go straight for the head. Right now, the piano wall, the next position, swing out, does do some decent damage onto Helios, but it's not enough to take him out of this. 38 seconds left. Rice looking for the angle through that walk-in closet as well. Lifeline out, he's going to look to exacerbate the problem. Pre-fire onto this window. Super shorty! That's the second time in a week that I've seen it come in big, and Adapt will find the final one as well. So Arial Arise, they do equalize, but it's a situation where these are coming far too close for comfort in these rounds.
Surprising that the castle manages to pull that one away. Superior positioning, the shotgun. Right decision to make in swinging the bathroom corner, and then the adjustment. Only really 1 or 2 other areas he could have gone. Arial Arise will continue the rotation game as we explore the various sites here on Chalet Bar and Gaming. Curious that there's no Frost, or rather no Mira. There is Frost, and Frost could be the 6th pick. Maybe Og is yet to confirm it. The 6th pick is there, and it's the Valkyrie to come in. So no Mira, but still you have some intel and a little bit better, I think, on the setup. You do lose 1 shield.
I mean, the Frost has been making its way back in. She's really, really popular, especially on Chalet here. There's a lot of work that she can do. But, I mean, look, at the end of the day, Valkyrie, the information that you can gain from those black eyes is just so much better. Oh, he almost shot out his camera there. Very close affair, but not quite to be for the moment. On the hunt for drones, August trying to do what he can. Bar Gaming, this one is an interesting one. Maverick still left in the pool, given that Nomad was banned. Interestingly enough, that backstock area is actually quite contestable with a Maverick on the board, even if it is brought some utility denial, some breach denial on the into fault. Believe it or not, Maverick is actually tall enough that he can stand on the fireplace stairs and reach the bottom of that wall if it's reinforced.
Attackers must locate and defuse a bomb.
Glad that I know that now.
Yeah, look, I do some dirty stuff in casual. I found that out one day, and I made some people very, very angry.
Attackers dropped the diffuser. Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser.
Maybe a Solarium push for a change? So far it has been the library approach in every single one of these rounds. I think the optimum way you've got to go about this is perhaps get some pre-placed drones. Oh, there's somebody down in the basement. I would have to feel it's probably Og or Adapt. Got a Claymore set up. Creative placement. We have the confirmation. It is Og, the chief rat player on this team. Gonna wait out for the late round. Meanwhile, Biblioteca making some significant progress to the north here in their take. Got the wall open. Focus changes. Got the hard breach denial on the wall there. I wonder which way they're going to approach clearing this out. There are a myriad of different approaches.
You got that player playing top library stairs as well. It's such a strong position. Like, it almost to the point where it can be a bit unfair. But Nicolai, he's playing around, looking to try and find that angle on towards mezzanine. But for the moment, nothing gained, nothing revealed. And it's Helio to find the opener. Adapt falls. Jaeger off the board. Spiker as well, going to take some damage. Pushing in from K9. He's going for the spray through the walls. But no to be found for the moment. Domi still playing behind that shield. Top library stairs still undeterred for the moment. On the way, my means that he has some tools and dealing. Ooh, okay, Spike is going to answer back. Does find that kill from library onto Helio. I would imagine that was out onto the K9 balcony as well. So he's still alive. They still have resistance there. but it's only a matter of time. His position is known. He doesn't have very many options to get back towards the bomb site, so it could be a position where he's fragged out momentarily. Dommy, there we go. He is being dealt with, fettered out in that position, or still on his own downstairs in the garage.
Attackers recovered the diffuser. The attackers bombed
Well, it's clear to me the effect that the electro claws and the reinforcement here to stop a push coming towards Chimney has had. The clock continues to burn down, and Biblioteca feel like they're kind of stalling out. Nas got frag grenades, so if there is a lack of ADS coverage at Chimney, we don't really know right now, that could be something to clear this out. The Cade is spotted unfair with the rotate. I think probably going to jump up on the slant roof, try to get a better look at how he can peek that, but here's something unexpected. Og to peek up from the bottom of the stairs, connecting shots, and Biblioteca have really not a whole lot they can do. The rotate came in quite late. Unfair will collect one. That brought us to equal, but that has quickly changed. Nicolo has got to come up clutch once again. It has been a game of close 1vx's. Nicolo to challenge in. Seems like it's really going to be a tough one. Rounding the corner, the pre-fire is there, but off target. And Woods will be better on it for the SMG-11. Arial Arise, a perfect showing of how to defend this bomb site. The slowdown, immaculate. And really, no adjustment from Biblioteca until it was too late.
Yeah, it was a better round there for Arial Arise, but I mean, it's still only the one. We still have a number of rounds left to play. But it also locks them out of bar gaming, which means Dining Kitchen is coming back in. Last time we were there, it was the Helio with that big 1vx clutch to pull it out. The defense wasn't terrible. Honestly, the setup, you got to admire it. It was quite clean. It was very innovative as well. But this is an interesting 6-pick. Adapt off the smoke. He might still revert back to it, but Cade is the name of the game there. That's relying on Maestro to go huge Dommy with the older 5.56 and the Italian stallion himself. But smoke, I mean, it's such a great anchor. You've got to wonder what the setup is that allows them to rely on the Evil Eyes and the Maestro instead.
I wish I had an answer for you, Blue, because I really don't. We'll have to just see how this works out. I like the fact that Arial aren't shy about bringing the castle. We've seen that in a lot of rounds so far. The vertical has been kind of, I don't know. Even though Biblioteca pulled out the first round, I feel like the slowdown worked the way that it was supposed to for Arial on the hold upstairs inside of office. Kind of ground the pace to a halt. Though Biblioteca were still steady, it wasn't like the previous round where there was kind of just one thing in the way and then they were like, what do we do to get around this? Nobody proposed a solution, and so really until they were just like, okay, let's give it up, nothing was there in terms of progress. Direct push coming in again. It's that library pressure that we've known so far this match. Lucky this time, no spiker lying in the wings to wait below for the hatch. Biblioteca are not going to make that same mistake this time, I imagine. Droning it out, realizing if that's open, they need to worry about it, and if it's not, that they can move in a little bit more confidently.
That's exactly what they're doing. Helio is in looking for information, scanner out, and actively hunting. Cam's being destroyed. And again, it's that same situation, that same setup that we're seeing out of Arial Arise. And it's one of those things where if an opponent figures out how to play into it, going back to that same setup is a dangerous proposition, because if they can deal with it once, chances are they're going to be able to deal with it again. Downstairs, though, on the roam once again, it is Org. I know that one. I can tell you he's mute. He's not anyone else. But they are looking to clear things out. Nicolo from main lobby. His fireplace, whatever you want to call it, is going to start to open things up. Breaching rounds from below. Woods in master bedroom once again. Last time he was here, he was the opening fatality of the round, courtesy of Helio. He survived a little bit longer. Helio not quite in a position to go for that frag out that we saw in round number 1, but Biblioteca, they are taking good ground.
The progress here would probably be a little bit more consistent if not for the Thatcher ban. Helio spots an opening, a chink in the armor as he'll charge forward. Unfair has secured control of the office, but he gets nitroed. Explosive game on point there by Og from below, and now he's in the danger zone. Could be going down as a nitro is still available for Adapt. Nicolo spots an opening, shuts down Spiker. Oh, wow. Adapt wins that. Surprising fight. Now Helio has got something to do. 55 seconds. The time is amicable. really all about what you can do to disturb the player who still holds off inside CEO. Dami plays a dangerous game for his team. Helio brings it to bear. He cuts down Woods. That should be top floor control relinquished as the focus now moves to attacking this site proper, making your presence known. It'll be the deep angles utilized here by Arial Arise. They're going to put Adapt way out inside Trophy to try and defend the entrance. The hard breaching is not a problem. The wall never open for direct pressure coming in from the main lobby. The time is low, and Og still holding off. Rice is continuing to take bullets, taking engagement after engagement as he'll move in. He's managed to sneak past the SMG-11. Oh, such a terrible angle, such a difficult one to pull off. Og from range as Rice has to rush. He's got to chase, but not enough time to round the corner. Biblioteca, they win another round, and again, it's a close shave.
How do you let that happen again? I mean, you Arial Arise, round number one, Helios just clutches it out at the end of the round in a situation that he had no right to. Your second attempt on Kitchen, it comes down to the 2v2. Helios storms in, makes it a 2v1. He dies 1v1. At what point do you just leave? I mean, that's exactly what the plan was. Obviously, we saw the sprint down West Main Stairs trying to get away, but Rice, hot on his heels, swings in, head gone. Was it a fadeaway attempt? Was he trying to go for that fadeaway shot to the top of West Main Stairs and just got caught out? Either way, that is two attempts on the kitchen dining that have resulted in almost a picture-perfect repeat, a 1v1 clutch pullout by Biblioteca, and now that's equalized the score. Yes, Biblioteca are the one calling the pause here, but I mean, they are still very much in this race. They've obviously got Master, Office, and Bar Gaming to go. Potentially even we do see that basement bomb site make its way through eventually. But, I mean, again, you got to think back. Arial Arise, they came in swinging. End of round number 15, they were talking some hot trash, and then they lost it. And now they're coming into this map and these rounds which they should be winning, because by all rights, both kitchen attempts, they should have won because time was on their side, positioning was on their side, and they still lose it. They are in position where they could end that half 3-3, and Biblioteca could run away with the second half.
It kind of draws me back to Clubhouse. In one of the rounds we saw there, the gym hold that failed because of the late rotate and the errors kind of with mispositioning and just the timing falling apart. That almost feels like what we had two times here. The strategy, the setup is good. The time waste is successful, not to mention the nitro so expertly thrown as the players are just up close and personal with that bulletproof camera. But then it just gets down to the wire and it's just like, you know, oh, mistake there. Little problem here, and then the round goes the way that you would not imagine it to. That was two strong Arial Arise showings going down to the kitchen site where they just failed to close it out. This should be 4-0 starting off here for the aerial defense, but few issues and the luck just not going their way. That means Biblioteca have built up a solid bit of working room here. They've got a bit of extra padding to work with, and they're not in the danger zone so immediately.
Well, I mean, we're going to be heading to Master next. Obviously, it is unlocked now that we've seen 2 rounds pass since it made its showing. Obviously, if they play this one out, they then have the option to go to Bar Gaming. But Biblioteca, if they win this, that's guaranteed minimum 3-3 half. And that's exactly what you're looking for in this situation. And with the way things played out last time, it wasn't a done deal. Yes, Spiker found that 2K, but they were able to bring it back. It wasn't a complete shutout to kick things off. Biblioteca have proved themselves very, very capable at clawing back those early advantages that Arial Arise have established for themselves. So, look, all I have to say, I'll say it again. I've been saying it for the last few rounds. The concern has to be there. The worry is starting to set in. Arial Arise need to keep themselves level-headed and checked in because it's easy for teams to check out in this situation.
Especially after such a grueling loss on Club. I feel like that does not help in this scenario. You came so close, you pushed it deep into infinite overtime on your opponent's map choice, and then because of a disconnection, maybe that's not the way that Biblioteca look at it and how they won, but certainly I could feel for Arial Arise that they didn't have a fair chance in the closing round there, but Siege works in mysterious ways. Sometimes you're going to have to deal with an unlucky start or a problem in the round that isn't without or out of your control, and you can't let that linger on. You need to pretty much throw Clubhouse out of the window and say, this is a fresh start. This is the middle ground. This is Chalet. Arial have kept it competitive so far. And maybe if they can just refresh that mental game, they can get the leg up here.
Well, I mean, anyway, I think you'd have to admit that Biblioteca have got a leg up regardless of the situation, given how those kitchen rounds have played out. They, like I said, no reason, no right to have won those, and they did anyway because Arial Arise made key mistakes. And oh, there's another one. Domi falls very early on. He was meant to be the linchpin, the resistance, trying to stall out that push from Library, and the fact that he was felled so easily and with not a single point of damage going back the way of Niccolo. They can take control of these library stairs, get up, take control along corridor, and start to pinch in towards the bomb site. And, I mean, Levron, whatever you want to call it, this is something else.
Trying to see if there is any hold off here coming in from the office. Spiker will isolate Niccolo wherever that had happened. Good sportsmanship there. A nice shot in chat as Adapt is dropped. Seems like good timing for Na to peek in from the door. As the pressure is established, Woods is waiting awfully close. They've got the bulletproof to make the call for this play. So maybe shredded now. The adjustment for Rice and Helio, maybe still worried about a threat to come in from below. We can see in the distance, you do have one player lingering away from side, and from what I've counted here, Spiker could be the apex. Sledge moves through. Not exactly checking the corners. That's going to give away Biblioteca's man advantage as Helio is ready for the challenge. Stun grenades to fly through the space inside Piano. The final one thrown but captured there by one of the Wamai Magnets. Oh, Rice spots out Woods. Too close at the window. Giving back Biblioteca the one up as this round could mean a lot. Biblioteca looking for their advantage. Pressure forward. Oh! Spiker for a triple kill. And now Helio, he's trapped. What? The scanner comes out. What is he looking for? Gonna make the call to go for the plant. Get it on the ground. Here comes the challenge. Spiker, ill prepared for it. The nitro goes out, but Helio! Oh, so closely fought there. But Og will save it, and he'll meander over towards the case to get the defuse. Biblioteca, little bit of an issue there with the pressure. Two men lining up at the piano, giving Spiker an easy route back in, and he works it so expertly.
Look, either Woods has supreme confidence in his teammate and the fact that he had support, or he wasn't watching his screen and didn't have his headset on, because the window gets impacted behind him, which, I mean, that's not a quiet audio cue to say the least. But he carries on watching long corridor door, like the piano double doors. Like, I don't know if he just straight up accepted his death or it was a lack of awareness, but he was killed gangland style, execution to the back of the head, 2-tap with the M762. And as we head back to Bar Gaming, this is another bomb site that was won by Arial Arise, but I mean, that last master hold, that was luck, I think, more than anything. The fact that they still had two players alive who could swing in and find that kill onto Helios. They very nearly lost that. I don't think they even quite respect how close it was.
Now you see me, now you don't. Attackers have located a bomb.
I feel like for Woods now, that was kind of a lose-lose. You know, if you whip around and you look at the window, you're exposed to the swing in from the double door. Woods chose to watch the angle he had already been looking at, and then, well, I mean, the player out on the window was just first to the fight, and not that, like, ultimately it doesn't matter. Arial Arise are still able to clutch up, and Spiker puts his team on the board and in advantage. 3-2, looking like we could be heading for, remind me, Panda, this would be the third 3-3 split this entire series. It has been
every single map has ended 3-3. It's bizarre, it's wild, but it is what it is. Well, at the moment, we're going in around number 6. I still could not tell you who I think would win this. Drone's going deep upstairs, looking to flush out that offsite presence. Honestly, Stick, I didn't even know what to make of this matchup anymore.
Yeah, I think this one has got to go into infinite overtime, or just, I mean, it's going to go into overtime. I feel like Arial Arise have shown up. I think the question ahead of this game, ahead of this map specifically, was what strategies do Arial Arise have prepared? How much have they practiced the map? Because from a viewer standpoint, for those of you who have been following the playoff storyline, Biblioteca have already proved their worth on this map. And so I feel like that sort of leans into a style of siege that's going to play out across both halves. Arial have put up 3 rounds, so they're at least guaranteed equal footing, if not an advantage, if they can close this out like they did in round number 3. But also, Biblioteca are no slouch on the defense either.
No, no slouch indeed. The fact that they were able to bring it back from literally the brink in our last matchup and take it in OT. Helio playing K9 once again. Last time he was here, he was able to find one that was traded out quite quickly after the fact. They've still got someone playing in that slant roof as well, trying to catch out Adapt, who is playing at mezzanine. Just tucked in by the pillar, by the fireplace, the chimney, whatever you want to call it. He is there. And look at him. Unfair is hunting for that drone economy. Is going to be good, but it's not to find the kill. The crossfire is there. He just swings out a little bit too wide. There's still one more player in library for the moment. It is Spiker tucked into the corner of that southwestern bookshelf, keeping him safe for the moment. On the drones, what can he find? Nitro Cell out the window. Nah, he's got good clearance on it, so he won't take any real damage. Spiker pulls back to the bomb site, but I mean, this is a phenomenal start so far here for Biblioteca.
They've really got a lot to work with here. The time, just under a minute, though control of the top floor has been successful and without any notable losses, par for the bullets expended in the utility that they needed to get this under their belt. They've got it in control now, so they're going to focus on opening up everything above the bar, try to contest this, try to open up an advantage against Woods. Niccolo will fall. Gas canisters are still abundant. Woods has got 20 seconds of denial, and for this round, which is under 30, that is certainly going to be a problem. The nade flies through. Oh, and such a good one, totally on target. Na will get 1 for the down, and the second there. Biblioteca, round number 6, such an electrifying closeout, and Na nearly single-handedly making that one decided with the frag.
I mean, look, there is a fairly well-known screenshot from the Office series of Michael Scott cringing just a little bit, and that sums up, I think, the situation that Arial Arise now find themselves in. They swung heavy at the end of last map thinking they'd won it, and it turns out they were wrong. Infinite Overtime does not work that way. And now, once again, they've been brought back to a 3-3 half. They now head over to the attack. We're going to see Bar Gaming come out. Rice on the 6th pick for the mirror, as you would expect on this bomb site. And, I mean, realistically, Biblioteca are in prime position to take this series.
There is a lot of discussion. As casters, we always talk about this idea of round economics, like how many are you supposed to earn because the map is sided to what team, and I feel like that is a very bland way to approach Siege because rounds come down very close and Siege is not decided on paper. I mean, we're talking about what happened earlier on the dining rounds where it would end in a one-on-one. That's not the round going down to the wire and being decided because one side is statistically more likely to win. That's just a player stepping up. And that's what CHALET largely is. Sometimes people say that it is more, beneficial or more oriented to the attackers, and I would agree there's a very kind of consistent entry that you can get. A lot of times you're able to secure control of Library or Solarium to move in a way that is not always guaranteed on another map. It gives you a really balanced starting point to gain control of the map, and it's difficult to set up in a way that can deny sort of that first step in. When we're thinking about a map like Clubhouse, you often don't have a way to set up immediately that gives you access that allows you to make that progress towards clearing the bomb site. The rare example, or the rare opposite that I would say for that, is coming in towards Gym. You get control of CCTV, but even then the defense can hole up there, can try to stop you from moving in outright. This time, we'll see that very same thing go down for Arial Arise, the attacking strategy, to move in north to south as they begin the process of gaining control of the map and clearing out defensive holdouts.
Well, it's time they've had to spend going and dealing with that. A lot of drone work needing to be set up so they can go for this push over and get control. Interesting, we see the Thermite make its way through here, given that it is a Bar Gaming defense. It's not really a site that needs an overwhelming presence of hard breach. But the crossfires are there, the angles are being set up. Domi, I would imagine he's getting himself positioned onto that slanted roof to try and cover the angle where Helios is currently playing, or Helio. But for the moment, he pulls up a mezzanine. Nah, still there covering from that top library stairs with the shield, with the magnets. They see the breach has been open. Unfair, the man on the cams for the moment. But there's all information. That will find that kill onto Helio. Does catch the Valkyrie wandering in the wrong position. And that is a big frag. It's one Nitro off the board. And it's, well, Helio, he's been a phenomenal fragger so far in the third map. Each map, we have seen someone else step up and go huge for this Biblioteca roster. Not to mention Nicolo, who has been rather consistent throughout. Nah, decides that the shield is not worth holding on to anymore. Will pull back from top library and reposition himself. But, I mean, you got to wonder... Oh, Spiker, that's a cheeky angle. He's consistently been playing through the basement, through Clubhouse, and now it seems into the the attacking half of Chalet. Hey, the man is looking for those odd angles.
I'll get one. I think Adapt is at the wall pulling over his eyes there as Rice is able to sneak into the mud room. There'll be a replicator that goes out. Down the stairs. See, does Adapt check? He does. Good play there. Now we know where Rice is. The Mira could be trapped, but the Mira actually able to work her way out. She wants the peek. So eagerly there at the stairs. Arial Arise commands such a significant advantage. There is very little remaining utility. Unfair's got 2 smoke canisters, but Woods, he works his way in and picks off 2. Arial Arise, round number 7, dominant fashion for the first flawless round all series.
I mean, they did. They cleared out their angles. They covered their bases. They found some phenomenal frags off the back of it. And, I mean, look, Flawless perfectly encapsulates how they executed that. Well, they do take bar game. There's still options available to Biblioteca, and it seems that they are going to just pull off bar game, and they're not going to double down. They're going to go straight to master. And, well, they do bring out the Iruni, the Cade, as you would expect in this setup. This has been an interesting one. I mean, we've seen so many hero plays out of Biblioteca that have brought them the rounds in the first half, but now in the defense, which is that you can tell they feel a lot more comfortable there. Nicolo back on the Jaeger. They lose the first round of the half, but there is no reason to discount them. What happens when they do find themselves some momentum on the defense?
The worry I have in mind is the path of this match is kind of similar to Clubhouse, where at the beginning the defense was equal, or the first half was equal, and then when Biblioteca got on the defense, they didn't have the same level of success that you would expect. Arial Rice stepped into their own, and the match developed as a result to eventually where Arial got control, got match point there, and were almost able to steal that one away. You don't want to set Biblioteca up in a way where they have to do that all over again, because I don't think Arial Rice are going to nix the opportunity a second time. They're going to capitalize on it. They're going to, kind of ready up and prepare. Replace drone for Unfair below, but there's a drone that spots him as he comes back up the staircase. So Arial, if they see the Valk going down there, they should predict that either a cam is waiting or a Nitro just the same.
Well, camera's positioned in the action phase rather than in prep, so I think, well, Unfair, he's just trying to play the mental game, trying to wait, trying to give himself that security. So Nitro will be spotted, so they know that there's a pre-place there. They're not going to risk it. They go in through that single window into library, so they will be able to deal with it. And there we go. Adapt in, ping's coming out, trying to communicate where it is. It's a rough angle to try and play around too. You probably need some sort of destructive utility to clear it out rather than actually going for the shots because of the angles of those metal bars. But for the moment, nothing found, nothing gained yet because of it. There's still... Well, actually, no, sorry. It has been shut out, so it's finally been dealt with. It took them a while, but they got there. Oh, Spike it again. Finds the big frag to blow this round wide open. Nicolo again off the board.
Looks like Nicolo's starting to slow down as Elio is... But his foot all the way down on the gas pedal, tearing apart Adapt, who tried to play out of the window. That's your frag sent away. Soft breach utility resting entirely in the hands of Og. And a little bit of hard breach across the board. The Thermite, a common figure here. Domi wouldn't be able to clear out the Electro Club below. I believe we just had another one tossed down as well, though. Where that has gone, I'm not exactly certain. Main wall, the main breach, still electrified, and We'll see the Sam Cam sent up into the floor. Is it going to manage? It seems like he has. So the wall will be open promptly. Woods, exothermic goes down. Arial Arise starting to rear up as they've got a lot of what's necessary to make the push, to make the execute happen onto this side. Biblioteca need a frag here. I think that could shut down the progress of Arial. You pick off one, you know, maybe you find Spiker or you get Og. That's going to force somebody else to step up, and it could not happen. You know, Spiker's out of position. He kind of has to rotate. He's going to need to contribute a little bit more, work his way back to the presence. Nitro or Helio and Rice's 2 smoke canisters could make this a bit of a tentative one as it comes down to the brutal end. August got the cross waiting at the bathroom window. This could be an opportunity for him to jump in. Og could sideline this play if it's not watched, if there's no coverage. This could be the play, and here it comes. Og will barrel in. Ready at the cross. The Cade isn't even looking. What? He just doesn't even kill Helio. I don't know what just happened there. Either way, it works out. Arial, 10 seconds to go. The plant, it'll be assured. Pace on the floor as Rice has got an upside down rappel at 0. We just stop for a moment. What happened there, Og? He tries to kill the Cade, but doesn't confirm it. Doesn't even get the injury.
I mean, look, I can personally attest to the number of times that I was certain I'd got the kill, but I was very, very wrong. And I think that was just the case. He thought he'd had it. He swung onto the other player who was playing around piano. He did get that kill, at the very least, onto Unfair. But, I mean, Helio was able to turn around and get the frag. Unfortunate that they weren't able to stop that plant from going down. Just phenomenal. You've got to commend Spiker. The guy always seems to be in the right place at the right time to cover where he is needed. And that has never become more evident than here on Chalet.
Yeah, I mean, Spiker, the timing for him is really good. He appears at the window, there's the cutoff, and I almost want to say that Arial were assisted in some regard for Og in that play because he served as a distraction. Not only have you got the attention of the player at piano, I mean, the Cade is forced to react, turn away, start to shoot at Og, and I think in the meanwhile, that allows the opening. You know, the plant comes in, Woods manages to get the case down. Woods is actually statistically one of the most prolific planters so far this season, I've noted.
And one of the most prolific talkers as well, it would seem. Coming into this, they're doubling down. They're going to be going for the reattempt here onto master bedroom and office. And it wasn't like the defensive setup was overwhelmingly weak. The fact that, Orc found that position, that weakness in the defense, he got himself into bathroom, swung in behind, bit of a whiff, but bit of a success at the same right. Was able to expose the weaknesses of the defense, get themselves in. So it was close, but no cigar, I think is the best way to describe it. It had all the marks of a great defense, just there was overlapping coverage, I suppose would be the best way to describe it. They didn't cover all their bases. They had multiple people watching the same angle where, okay, Orc, that's your own drone, buddy.
I don't know what to say there. I mean, just kind of...
At that point, you just open the door. Open the damn barricade.
All right. Well, this game has had a lot of kind of hijinks is the way that I would describe it. Some weird rounds, some things would not go the way that you would predict. Bullet hole peak for Unfair. Just waiting. You can barely see the sliver. Unfair will capitalize. Adapt's not even ready for it. Sidelined by the MPX. That's a strong play. Spiker's waiting at the K9 door as Og just flies in. Caution to the wind. He'll bail back out, seeing the success of that play. The advantage of the surprise factor largely goes away. Sheesh. So far, Og, he's going to take a little bit of damage off the back of that Surya gate.
Lost a gunfight to himself because he face tanked a Surya gate.
Yeah, that was not pretty so far. Biblioteca have man advantage, so this is looking like the first round shaping up for them. Nitro launched up above. Woods taking amount of damage, and Dami will actually go down off the back of it. Woods is just, he doesn't know what to think now. His focus has been divided. You've lost your IQ. Spiker, I don't think is in position yet to get the wall open. That's something that's on my mind. Is the Electro Clubbing cleared? Are Arial Arise actually going to have a solid entry point?
I mean, look, we've seen something, but none of it is what I would call solid after that kick off to the round. Well, 3v5, so it's one of those situations where it's not totally out of the realms of possibility that the victory does come through for Arial Arise, but I mean, look, you've got a 2-1 split at the moment. One person pushing over towards West Main, and it is Org. He is low, looking to come in. they are going to get the cam in to try and deal with Electroclaw, but you got 5 incredibly healthy players still alive for Biblioteca. Nas there in Trophy, where he has been playing, mind you, for almost the entirety of the round. Does get the kill onto Org. Spiker has pulled back up the fireplace stairs to mezzanine, and, well, at least Woods has the wall open, but there's still 3 toxic canisters left in play.
It's a lot of denial to work with, not to mention Spiker's been blocked by the Surya gate. Gas canister tossed to obscure main breach as Woods reorients. Not going to get much luck out of pushing through there. Spiker has worked his way in deep, but the coverage for Helio will guarantee the player at piano survives for just a little bit longer. Valk will test the angle. Woods is so incredibly low on HP. Only the pistol needed to take him down. Biblioteca resurging in round number 9 after 2 back-to-back losses. Defending bar and office. They get success on the top floor and now have a decision. Where are they going to rotate? One surprising stat, no basement seen yet this match.
Well, Bar Gaming is the call that has been made. It was a flawless round win last time we were there. So there has to be some real concern. And, well, it seems it's going to be locked in here. Almost a picture-perfect. In fact, I think it is a picture-perfect repeat of what we saw in the defensive setup, plus the attacking setup. So they are going to double down here. Interesting when there are other options available to them. But, I mean, you'd only see this if Biblioteca have some plan they want to make happen.
Well, surely they at least have a plan. Seeing as they are the defenders, you kind of need to have one. That is the name of the game on defense. You kind of have to prepare, set up a strategy. The Nitro game from Unfair has been very influential so far, at least distracting the attention of Arial in that one attempt where we saw it pre-placed inside of the library, sort of forced him to slow down. And the second Nitro, or the other notable one really, was surprisingly effective. I think kind of sealed the deal in that round there, is you take one player down and you also put one on such incredibly low HP that you just can't do anything. I mean, Woods is a good player, but you can't guarantee that he's going to get a 3-piece on 1 HP.
On Thermite as well. I mean, look, it is what it is. It's very rare that you find the Fragmite coming through in those situations, but Biblioteca, they're back within a round. They are very much in a position to contest, and once again, we see this like 4-man Solarium Repel coming out here, and we do see the lovely sun making its way into the picture for Chalet. It's an interesting spectator bug, but you got to live with it some days. Unfair downstairs once again. This Solarium push has been rather consistent. Oh, Niccolo. This position, if he finds someone mid-repel, that's a big frag and a big opening. At the moment, he's sitting on the hatch. Drone's going to be in, so, yeah. He's going to spot it, shoot it out as well. No, he doesn't actually, sorry. Unhard it at the worst possible time. My screen, it looked like it was gone, but it's not. And Niccolo, well, he's been spotted. He spots someone, but he's going to pull back for the moment.
Niccolo could use a boost here, 1 or 2 frags to kind of push himself up a little bit further. We saw on Club that he had kind of a rocky beginning of the second half, but as soon as he found the play, he found his groove, he really started to kind of rock out, and that was one of the X factors that Arial could not disrupt. Hold out here, waiting. This is a bit unusual. The progress the attackers have made is kind of irregular for this period in the round. I wonder if Unfair has managed to score anything with that Nitro yet. I actually hadn't seen it. See an explosive detonate. The exothermic is successful. Now the entry point made. Access to chimney given. And Arial Arise are going to try to get a little bit of intel here so they can make their presence. They can begin to push forward. Testing at the window is Og. A kill on a Niccolo would be priceless. If you can disrupt the Jaeger, I guess they'll drop the hatch. Seeing the value in this position slowly begin to drain away as the time gets lower and lower. That's the big benefit of this setup. Holding off for as long as possible. One of the defenders, looks like that's actually Niccolo himself, has begun to creep up back towards the top of the blue stairs, but falls off before actually going for anything concrete. The time is low. That's an important frag. You shut down Spiker. You don't have as much pressure coming in from dining side. And so Ariel's push almost entirely comprised of the vertical element as well as Og, who has begun to slowly sneak through here. Such great timing for the player in the corner. But if Og is undetected, If Na moves even slightly, just a lean, that could give him away, and it's exactly what happens. Oh, nearly there. Og taking a sliver of HP within 25 seconds. I don't think Og is exactly prepared for unfair as he moves on by. He is the pistol. 4 on 2. Arial have to get into the site, though. That's one thing they haven't yet done, and the case is caught out in uncertain territory. Nicolo can defend it here as he crouches deep in the hallway. 7 seconds to go. The nade for coverage. They gotta get the case, though. 3 seconds. You need to pick it up. You've got to move back in. Adapt, shut down. Nicolo heats up in the biggest way possible. Biblioteca deny Arial match point as they are back at equal.
Well, we've gone from calls for Nicolo to retire in our last match to the man single-handedly denying map series point here from Arial Arise. My lord, the man has put it on a showcase in how to play that flank, that roam, that Jaeger play. As we head down to kitchen dining, one of these teams will be moving on to map series point. Here it then becomes a question of, can the other team bounce back and take us to yet another overtime? And, well, I'd be hard-pressed to take a guess at who will take it. We have yet to see the kitchen dining defense come out for Biblioteca. But Arial Arise, the frustration, the tempers, the emotions must be rising at this point.
Yeah, you've lost your match point. Not even this situation going down on Clubhouse. It was Biblioteca who had to get the kick of the pants of Arial being on match point before they really started to change gears and storm their way back in. The point I just mentioned earlier, Nicolo sort of needed a play to start to work a little bit better, to start to heat up, and that's exactly what has just happened. He has single-handedly turned that round from what should have been a sure victory for Arial, a 4 on 2 with plenty of pressure on the objective. Instead, Woods has case in the middle of fireplace, leaving it vulnerable to a punch hole that guarantees the round is locked away.
Look, that was very much a General Kenobi moment. Wasn't expecting at all the case carrier to be in the middle of fireplace, but finds the first, finds Org, who was on a sliver of health anyway, trying to follow up, and then Adept walks in and hands over yet another freebie. Just kills given handily, and well, Biblioteca, they find themselves in position to really go for this contest here. Spray through, looking to try and get things opened up into library. But Unfair is there. He has the Nitro as well. Oh, the window behind open. Damage traded both ways, but Unfair, unfortunately, the loser in that situation. Spiker, very much healthier when it comes to that Nitro cell placed. Oh, so unbelievably close. Was just a second late on that detonation. Could have definitely taken Adapt out of the equation, would have been hugely detrimental.
One player maybe spotted as Nicolo works his way around here inside office. Arial have not established a grasp. Spiker going down to Na, who had just kind of appeared below the hatch. Drone will spot him as he makes his getaway, but the damage has already been done. For Unfair, he's on incredibly low health, and Na is less optimum than you would like, but to shut down Spiker, that really puts a lot of pressure on Og and Woods to step up. Domi has been absent this game, I have to mention. 4 and 7, at least for Nicolo, who kind of expended his energy already on Villa, and as well, just previously on Clubhouse. He's almost positive Domi's playing the entry, playing sort of that second fiddle role, but has not been able to achieve the same level of success, and his team desperately needs it now more than ever.
Look at the angles, though, the coverage. Yes, they've got an avenue directly into the bomb site, but Nicolo playing from above. He's in piano. He can pinch into mezzanine and shut anyone down caught unawares. They're trying to deal with this utility in the bomb site itself, but there's still no guaranteed security when it comes to going for that plant. Adapt on the drone. Doesn't spot anyone, but if you look back towards Trophy, there is a player who could have covered the angle. Nicolo does fall. Dummy cuts him down there in that position, so back to a 4 versus 4. Pulls up onto mezzanine, cuts him out of that equation for the moment. But look at that. There's still drones available. Smoke canisters as well, and Helio deep back towards Trophy. He's going to head up towards Solarium. Try and shut down Domi should he go looking for even more. But at the moment, he's tucked in mezzanine, looking for that tight pixel cross. 20 seconds left here, Stick. You've got Org in position to explode into dining, but still no security. Toxic canister thrown from kitchen. A lot of pings coming out. The threat is a real, and Nah finds the kill onto Dommy. Woods trying to go for the plant. Org will find the kill onto Rice. Denies, tucking into the corner. There's no one there. It's a bit of a fake. Unfair finds a depth. The trade comes back for Org. He's being tagged low. 1 second. Woods has to stick it. If he dies, it's all over. But Helio on the backside, he's going to be taken out. Woods finds that frag, and it's all on Nah coming in from Trophy. There's a player close left. Does he know it? Org in a great spot to shut this one down. But Nah, where does he go? Where's the call? Oh, he almost saw the gun barrel. Org has to know, has to have that information. He's going to see it. He shoots the head, and Aerial Eyes will move to map series point hit first. But we've seen Biblioteca and their capability to battle back.
Well-needed round. Many members of Arial finding their way onto the scoreboard. You have to commend Woods. Moving in, getting the frags when his team needed to, having the confidence to stick the plant even amongst the flood in the site, where it looked like, even for Og, he was uncertain about defender positions. There was openings up above. There was a player inside of the main lobby. He stuck the case, he got it down, and he put his team in that leverage position to push themselves to match point 6-5. As we go into the final round of regular time, Kitchen and Dining will come once more. And I think that is the first decidedly confident round. So far, Dining has been nothing but one-on-ones coming down to the brutal end. Arial are able to do the unthinkable, to get the plant down, which had not happened up until that point. And with the showing on Dining, really served notice to Biblioteca. So again, we must strike midnight. Niccolo has got to heat up this round. He must be there for his team because you can't just put all the count, but all the stakes on Unfair and not to turn up in this one. Even for Helio, who has had strong match, Niccolo needs to be here because Dommy did what I said to. He got his impact in the previous round with the sort of middle round pick. It was not really true for Niccolo. He fell fairly quiet there.
Well, 5 seconds left in the prep phase and what could be the final round of this Titan series that we've played out so far. And Unfair, I mean, even with only 5 kills on the board, the frags that he has found, those 5 have been hugely influential. As have, I mean, honestly, just the stuff we have seen here tonight in this matchup. Biblioteca, they have had a real rough run through the playoffs. They got knocked into the lower bracket by Mystic, beating Arial Arise in the quarterfinals. Now they're back versing them again, which is interesting given how much smack there is talking, given they were knocked into the lower bracket by this team previously. But, I mean, we've still got at least this round to play, if not a few more, if we go to OT. And with the momentum that Biblioteca seem to be able to find off even the slightest frag, they can translate that into some big wins. Pest spotted and shot out and will be dealt with, but Unfair's playing around top library. Drone will spot him. Could have gone for the fadeaway Nitro to find a big kill, but no, not for the moment. Will pull back, keep himself alive in it at this point. But Stick, the tension is really rising here.
I don't want to really curse this one here, but we are approaching 4 hours in, and Arial Arise have got an opportunity to close this one out before we have to cross that 4th hour mark. Drones are in. Woods, the HP, the Jaeger lurking at the corner. He'll begin to work his way past. Drones are active, and another one will go, looks like below display room. Argus Cam immediately shot out. Niccolo exchanging a few bullets. You spotted Damazi. This could be an opportunity to close him out. Nah does not have much support. Unfair is going to try to flank up above. This moment of hesitancy could cost Arial as Unfair moves in. It seems the knowledge is finally there to get the trade. But before the Savior had arrived, they were unable to lock off and secure the trade. It's a 4-on-3 advantage to Arial. You've lost Nah, you've lost Unfair. That's 2 out of 3 nitros removed, or the opportunity therein. 3 gas canisters remain in pocket as the exothermic sounds off. Niccolo is hoping to make a play for his team to push this one into overtime in the very same way that he did on Clubhouse in such a poetic fashion. Spiker is lurking below. The time is getting lower, and the hour is here for Arial. who are searching for the closeout to guarantee that they move forward in the lower bracket and to eliminate Biblioteca before this series has to go any longer. Well placed smoke canister, though. It's going to force Woods away from the wall that he had preferred, given that the south-facing wall is still electrified. That's going to deny Woods an option. Spiker finds Rice, and oh, there we are. Nicolo shut down. Spiker to get the final kill, and after less than 4 hours, Arial close it all up. 7-5 on the decider map. Biblioteca are eliminated.
Well, it is unfortunate for Biblioteca for the run to come that way, but look, after everything that was said, I think there's going to be a lot of retraction in some of those statements because, I mean, Nicolo was one of the key reasons Biblioteca held on as long as they did. He made Arial Arise work so unbelievably hard, despite the changes that were made, despite that runaway start that we saw in map 1 on Villa. They really did have to go very, very hard. Now, Stick, we have had confirmation due to scheduling we won't be having an interview, so we will have to move things along and get ready for our second matchup of the night. But it has been an absolute pleasure. Arial Arise will progress through the lower bracket to take on the winner of our next matchup, which is going to be Aggro Smoke Break. And, well, I mean, Arial Arise, they've had to work hard. They're going to have to work even harder in the next matchup.
Yeah, and I've got to give some props to Arial Arise for coming back in a series that every staff member in the prediction said was going to go the opposite way. Arial have shown a lot of growth. Spiker showed up. Spiker played an important role and played his piece in the team structure today, and it will put Arial Arise forward into the next round, the lower bracket semifinals. Biblioteca, I think there is some work to be done still, but their performance today was nothing less than show-stopping and really serves to prove why they are one of the top competitors here in SCS. And I wish that had gone into overtime. You know, for the sake of us casters, it was a long one, but fortunately, that is all she wrote for the first match here in the semifinals. As Panda mentioned, we do have Aggro taking on Smokebreak. The second semifinal, we'll have Connor, CDAP, Stapolonio coming in on the cast with Jazzman. But that's all from myself and Blue tonight. From all of us here at the first game, we hope to see you stick around for an even better second.